For a news update, and we cross over now and say good morning to Catherine Gaffney.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Questions are being asked over why a MICA meeting wasn't facilitated between the Taoiseach and Donegal County Council. Micheál Martin was in Donegal last weekend and met with a number of affected homeowners and the MICA Action Group. However, it's thought the Taoiseach should have met with the council too to discuss issues relating to the current 90-10 scheme and the upcoming enhanced scheme. MICA Action Group PRO Michael Doherty has described it as a missed opportunity.
Donegal County Council should have been asking for help, should have been saying to the Taoiseach's office, we really need this to happen, so as we can explain our cause and have people understand, have the Taoiseach understand why this scheme is stalled effectively at the minute. That doesn't seem to have happened, or if it was requested, how come it wasn't honoured? I'm not sure which of the two it is. All I do know is it didn't happen, and it should have happened.
A survey has revealed that the fish weighing debacle is adversely affecting the southwest Donegal economy. The figures compiled by the Irish Fish Processors and Exporters Association shows that hundreds of homes and workers are being impacted by the ongoing issue. Tara Duggan has more.
The association says that 239 households are directly affected by the turning away of vessels from Killybegs. This in turn is impacting up to 300 seasonal workers directly, with to date 1,773 working days lost to them collectively. The IFPEA has described the situation as a devastating blow to seasonal workers who've witnessed their duration of work already eroded due to Brexit TCA cuts in their fish quota. The association is also warning that if Killybegs can't function in line with other EU fishery harbours or ports, it will be placed at a competitive disadvantage due to what it says is an unfair interpretation of EU rules and regulations by a combination of the Department of the Marine and the SFPA. The IFPEA says this will ultimately lead to job losses and further devastating impacts for the wider community.
And pay is one of the issues set to top the agenda at the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors annual conference, which gets underway this morning. The Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, is also expected to announce that body-worn cameras for Gardaí will be trialled within the next year. The General Secretary of the AGSI, Antoinette Cunningham, said members would be viewing with interest proposals around pay, given the recent increase in the cost of living.
There's no doubt that pay will arise. We currently have the Building Momentum pay deal, which is a pay deal right across the public sector. And of course, that's going to be controversial given the rates of inflation and the state of the Irish and world economy. So people certainly will be concerned about pay and what pay might look like for the coming year and into next year.
Weather now this morning will be mostly dry and cloudy. Outbreaks of rain will move northwards over the area this afternoon, and there may be some heavy and thundery bursts, top temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees. We're back with more 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
This is your guide to smart glasses. Smart glasses often look like regular glasses, and some of them have built-in cameras. Even if you don't wear smart glasses, it's helpful to know what it looks like when someone who is wearing them is taking a photo or video. One way someone can activate their camera is by tapping the capture button on the frame. Another way is by using a voice command, like
take a photo.
So now you know a bit more about smart glasses.
A message from Meta and SLR Luxottica.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. It is Monday the 11th of April and it is 4 minutes past 9 and you're welcome along to the first 9 to Noon Show of the week. And it's a shorter week for us this week. Friday being Good Friday. Anyway, we have a very busy show for you today. Get involved, stay tuned with us. You can watch the programme if you wish. Go to our website, highlandradio.com. You'll see a link to watch it there. Or you can watch us on Twitter, Highland Radio, on Facebook, Highland Radio's News and Sport, or Highland Radio there as well. And on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland. Whichever way you decide to be with us, we very much welcome it. Okay, what's caught your ears, your eyes, your attention over the weekend? What do you want to talk about? We have a busy show lined up as always, but still plenty of space to talk about issues concerning you. 086 60 25 000. That's the WhatsApp. That is the text number. Or call 07491 25,000. Right. We're going to have a look at the newspapers, but before we do, just something that may have caught your ears or eyes over the weekend. Comedian Dara O'Brien, he's a funny enough guy. If you're into that type of thing, he was on the Late Late Show on Friday. One of his jokes was about him receiving abuse from his namesake, the Minister for Housing, Dara O'Brien.
Housing Minister, and then you get all his angry tweets, and that has been... It's been a judgment.
Have you been getting a lot of housing tweets?
The people don't go red hard on me. And it was just today I opened up Twitter and it's like, I said, what? I said, like, how dare you, Dara O'Brien? The situation in Donegal is bad. I don't remember doing that in Donegal. I'm really sorry for the bad. I don't know what happened. Donegal, we could look at this.
Does that work the other way? Does the minister get these texts going, you were deadly last night? You know, it might...
Delighted to do. That's okay.
All right, so of course, comedians have a fair bit of latitude. It's not comedians will pick on things that are quite sensitive to people. I mean, obviously, Ryan Tubridy himself, he found it hilarious, but he would have had people affected by it on his programme. Probably knows that it's not really a laughing matter. But as I say, comedians make jokes. In the on the face of it, there's no harm with a bit of crack, is there? That being said, I took that audio from Dara O'Brien, the Housing Minister's Twitter, because obviously comedians make jokes about current issues. In that regard, it might have been funny. But what seems to have upset people is the Housing Minister himself recording his TV, recording that joke in inverted commas, and then posting it on his social media, apologising to the comedian with a couple of laughing faces. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's ever been apologised to up here for the mess that they find themselves in their homes. So that is what I think. And I'm pretty clear on it, that people found inappropriate that the Housing Minister inserted himself into the joke and shared it, when in that context you could ask, is it a laughing matter for a minister? And I think the answer is clearly no. A comedian can make a joke, it's a laughing matter, maybe even gets the issue being talked about again, but the Housing Minister making a joke of it, is that funny? And I think the answer there is no. But his tweet's still up. He's standing by it, obviously. Clearly, he doesn't think it's something that's too offensive. But what do you think? Either way, by the way, maybe you think that, I don't think there's any point debating Dara O'Brien's joke, in that, he shares the name with the Housing Minister. He's getting the abuse. He wakes up going, God, what did I do to Donegal? I think that's fair enough. I don't think there's any controversy there, is there? But what do you think then of the Housing Minister videoing this on his TV and then apologising to Dara O'Brien with a couple of smiley faces? Is that appropriate? What do you think? And the answer can be yes or no, by the way. 086 60 25,000. I'm not trying to lead anyone down a particular garden path, but I know there was an awful lot of anger on social media. I was angry about it too, to be honest with you. I might as well just nail my colours to the mast rather than try and pretend otherwise, because I've spoken publicly about this already. Okay, right. Now, I'm just wondering, if he said... I can't give the obvious examples because I don't want to offend anyone, but there's obviously other things that are happening, other issues that the Housing Minister is dealing with that clearly you could not joke about. You could not. It would be seen as incredibly offensive. Now, you'd make you wonder if he's got a real sense of what people are actually going through up here. But anyway... the Donegal News this morning, a Letterkenny principal whose school has welcomed 19 Ukrainian students has appealed to the Education Department to provide urgent extra resources. 19 Ukrainian students started at Errolgood College, Letterkenny, on Monday last and have been settling into school life here. The school has been providing extra English classes and pastoral support for the students, but unfortunately additional resources and funding from the Education Department have not yet been forthcoming. The Derry News this morning, there will be 14 names on the ballot paper when voters in the Foyle constituency go to the polls in the upcoming Assembly election. Two of the sitting MLAs seeking a return to Stormont are contesting an election for the first time. Sinn Féin's Padraig Delargy and Ciara Ferguson, having been co-opted by the party to replace Martina Anderson and Karen Mullen last year. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. On to the Irish Independent now, and as predicted on this programme on Thursday, almost word for word, Tony Holohan opted not to take the role with Trinity, saying that it was his decision and that he didn't want to. He didn't want the controversy to reflect poorly on the government or civil servants, i.e., those that made the decision, and indeed Trinity. So as soon as night follows day, it's all becoming incredibly predictable now. They obviously thought that the public wouldn't get a hold of it. They did, and here we are. A report by the controversial top civil servant at the Department of Health will admit that the final financial details of Chief Medical Officer Tony Holohan's secondment to Trinity College were not fully worked out. Secondments, by the way, are temporary. This was a permanent move. The report by Secretary General at the Department of Health, Robert Watt, to Health Minister Stephen Donnelly will say that Dr. Holohan's salary was going to be covered by research funding from a Department of Health quango to be applied for by Trinity College. Details of the report, which is due to be published today, comes amid mounting political pressure over the handling of the process. Junior Health Minister Anne Rabbitte has stated it will be a shame to lose Dr. Holohan from the public service. Well, look, I'm sure he can apply for other jobs that become available, like is normal. If he wants a job, create the job or vacate the job and advertise it, and Tony Holohan can advertise along with along with everyone else, and if he'll get the job, presumably. But that's the way things are supposed to work now. Obviously, Stephen Donnelly came out and made a very strong defence of this move last week. He said that this was good. He was saying, listen, look away, there's nothing to see here. This is the same public money in the Department of Health going to Trinity College. It's great. It happens all the time. As it turns out, it really is quite controversial. So we will see how it pans out and what impact, if any, it might have on the Minister for Health. On to the Irish Times now, and there are acute concerns in government about capacity to house Ukrainian refugees, with the available supply of housing in B&B places almost exhausted. While senior officials said facilities such as large halls with camp beds and tents were unlikely to be required before Easter, sources were unwilling to rule them out beyond that. A scramble for additional sources of accommodation is underway across all forms of government and local authority, with an emergency summit of the construction and property industry due to be held today by Minister for Housing Darragh O'Brien. Now, clearly, obviously, they're not going to be able to build houses in the time frame required. So it seems that they're going to go looking at holiday homes, asking people to give up their holiday homes for a period of time. Now, I wonder how many people might be inclined to do that, particularly, I suppose, given the fact that maybe over the last couple of years they haven't had an opportunity to visit them themselves. But also there's a financial element of it. I mean, I presume bed and breakfasts and hotels are doing very well out of it. The construction industry is going to do very well out of building homes, obviously. Are people going to be paid to make their homes available? Because it might become more of an option or more attractive if that were to happen. It just doesn't seem to be a conversation that's happening. You know, they're talking about maybe a payment of €300, but with the price of home heating oil and what have you, if that's how you happen to heat your holiday home, and then, of course, there'd have to be repair costs when people move out. That's normal, by the way. Why will people in great numbers do that? When other areas are being well rewarded for doing their bit. I don't know. I think that's the problem. That's what I see as the problem for them. But anyway, at the same time, the first face-to-face meeting between a European Union leader and Russian President Vladimir Putin, president, since the start of the invasion of Ukraine, is to take place when Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer travels to Moscow. The move comes as the White House urged that brutality against civilians in Ukraine was not just down to random acts by individual soldiers, but formed part of the overall plan by Moscow for the invasion of Ukraine. On to the Irish Daily Mail now. Anger at move to ban sale of turf. Giving turf for the fire to friends and neighbours is to be outlawed by Green Party leader Eamon Ryan, so you can't share your turf if you have it. The traditional roaring turf fire could become a thing of the past for the majority of homes under plans by the Climate and Environment Minister. The sale and distribution of turf will be banned from September 1st as part of the proposed new regulations on solid fuels. So not only will you not be able to sell your turf to your neighbours, if that's something that you did, you cannot maybe give 20 bags to your family or friends. That is actually going to be a crime. Giving your turf to a family, friend or neighbour is actually going to be a crime. What do you think of that? The rules are expected to spark fury, though, amongst rural Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael TDs and senators who are already in revolt over the increasingly imperious style of the Green Party coalition partners. Did we ever think we'd get to a stage that moving turf, it's okay for personal use, but to sell or give it away would become a crime? Did we ever think we'd ever be in that position? That's where we are. Speaking of crime, the Irish Daily Star tells us that... where is it now? on this side, yeah. Daniel Kinahan, who's obviously got his reputation here. He's got a reputation in boxing as well as a deal maker. He deals with all the big boys, Frank Warren and all of them. He deals with all of them. But anyway, Daniel Kinahan is to be hit with worldwide sanctions as part of a massive international crackdown on his crime cartel. It has emerged. The Star has learned that Kinahan is to have assets frozen and be placed on a no-fly list, which means he won't be allowed onto planes. It's a massive operation against him, as source said last night. Gardaí have been mounting an international operation against the 44-year-old for almost 5 years that has been working with cops in Britain and America and elsewhere in the world. Sources told the Star that Gardaí have now secured cooperation to seize control of bank accounts and other assets that investigators say are linked to the Dubliner, the man who leads Ireland's most ruthless and dangerous drugs cartel, but as I say, is seen as outside of Ireland as someone who's really quite respectable in the boxing game. It'll be interesting to see how this latest move, if it comes to pass, impacts him, his business or his business partners. We've been talking about this for a while, and it's about to happen. Gardaí will be allowed to wear body cams this year. What do you think? The pilot programme will be announced today by Justice Minister Helen McEntee at the Association of Garda Sergeant and Inspectors annual conference. The Commission on the Future of Policing recommend introducing the body cams more than 4 years ago. But the kit will only be introduced to some Garda divisions this year after finally getting the go-ahead following long delays. But as I say, what do you think about this? It depends on the accessibility to the record as well. I mean, you have an interaction with Garda. You want to ensure that it's from both perspectives or that you have access to it if need be. I don't know, but what do you think, as I say? And finally, by the way, if you are down in Dublin today or heading down to Dublin, or in fact perhaps over the next couple of weeks, maybe it's for a hospital appointment or the airport or something, you might need to allow yourself some extra time because there is a big protest which is taking place. Convoys of trucks, they're set to bring traffic mayhem today as part of a fuel price rise protest. And it's not just truck drivers, school bus drivers, farmers, and the general public all involved in this. They have set targets. They want aim and Ryan gone. They want a maximum price for all fuels. Those are their red lines, and they say they will continue to blockade Dublin until they are. We've seen this in other countries as well, until those demands are met. They will not leave Dublin, they say, until the demands have met, as I mentioned. The truckers, part of the People of Ireland Against Fuel Prices movement, held 2 similar demos before Christmas under a different name. Convoys of trucks were due to gather on the main approaches to the city this morning on the M1, M4, M7 and close to the M11, M50 junctions and move slowly towards the city centre. In a Facebook post, a spokesperson said, "We are a group of truck companies struggling to stay afloat. We have come together with farmers, bus companies, taxis and the public to protest at the price of being in business. The cost of living is not affordable. We are in crisis." And as I say, they are scheduled to continue with that protest for at least a week and beyond until their demands are met. Obviously, the people of Dublin and those travelling to it and out of it are inconvenienced, but they, I'm sure, would argue that the means justify the ends. As I say, I'll just give you one more reminder of the numbers here just before the break. 086 60 25,000. WhatsApps on texts on anything we've discussed or what you want to bring up yourself, or call Caroline on 074 91 25,000.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
You can do pretty much anything in just a few taps. Buy a car, book a holiday, and now you can even apply for a permanent TSB digital current account in-app in minutes. It's quick, it's mobile, it's the start of making your everyday banking easier. Now that's permanent support. Application in your sole name for over 18 personal customers and residents of the Republic of Ireland only. Qualifying criteria, terms and conditions apply. Permanent TSB PLC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Donegal County Council would like to remind farmers, gardeners and contractors of the need to follow best practice when using pesticide products such as MCPA for spraying rushes, particularly near lakes and rivers used as drinking water sources. Firstly, don't spray if it's windy or rain is forecast in the next 48 hours. Read the product label carefully. Avoid spills, stay well back from open drains and rinse empty containers 3 times into the sprayer before recycling them. Clean water is everybody's business. Donegal County Council, protecting the environment.
Grab yourself a cracking Easter deal at Screwfix. We've big savings on everything you need to get your jobs done, from painting and decorating to landscaping and power tools. But you'd better be quick. Easter deals must end 18th of April. Order at screwfix.ie for click and collect or shop in over 20 stores. Find your nearest online today. Screwfix, the choice of champions. While stocks last, prices valid until at least 4 p.m. on 18th of April. Visit screwfix.ie for T's and C's, delivery charges and restrictions.
Okay, later on in the programme, Minister Charlie McConalogue, as he committed to on Friday, will be joining us to give his opinion on what's happening in Killybegs. More boats full of fish being turned away, and in some cases going to different ports and others going to land. Their fish in water in Derry, and then for them to be transported to Killybegs for process. There's something of is it a standoff? I suppose you could call it a standoff between the SFPA and local fish processors, the local community as a whole. Everyone's affected by this. And also, I'd be interested to get his views on the Housing Minister's hilarious, in inverted commas, tweet about the devastating mica crisis. But now I'm joined on the programme by Christina Ferry. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Greg.
I appreciate you sparing the time to talk with us this Monday morning. And it's off the back of a walk at Ards Forest Park. Can you tell us what it used to be like and what you're witnessing now?
Yeah. Well, Saturday was such a beautiful day, and we took a walk down to Ards, about the area of Cashel Moor, behind where Doe Cemetery is. And it's where I go very often, and I used to go mushroom picking there, and I used to take a lot of friends out there to teach them about mushrooms. And there's a beautiful picnic area. There's some steps up to a height, and my son absolutely loves it there. But the whole forest is gone. It has been completely cleared. They even took out, all the broadleaf trees. Everything is gone. And it's not being just clear-felled. It's been absolutely savaged. And I am just utterly shocked that this is possible in Ards Forest, that this has been treated by culture in such a savage way.
It looks, from the pictures that you've sent in, it looks like, 3 months after a wildfire or something like that there. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, it looks like Armageddon. Yeah.
That's what it, yeah. And these trees are these trees, as far as you can determine, that are grown for cutting down and use?
Yeah, well, they took down all the logs there on the side. They're being sold on. But, I saw last year that some of the trees started to get numbered, and I thought it would just simply, spinning out the forest, which would make sense, and as well, some of the conifers there, they weren't growing well, and it is good for the forest if they get a bit of thinning out. But what they have engaged in is a completely eradication of the place. It's completely gone.
But if it was grown for a purpose, though, Christina, and it's reached the maturity and now is being cleared to fulfill that purpose and to be replaced and replenished, I mean, you just got used to it during a process. I'm trying to be as fair as I can to all parties,
Absolutely.
Christina.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand that, but Ards Forest is for us very important, especially after COVID, getting out into nature. And Donegal doesn't really have a lot of areas of mature trees. There isn't, that many woodlands where we can go to. And
surprisingly, when you think about it, we should be, there should be every which way you turn, but there aren't that many easily accessible woodlands, really.
Yeah. I looked onto Culture's website, and they're stating, the purpose of Culture is, we are passionate about our core purpose to enrich lives locally, nationally, and globally through innovative and sustainable management of our natural resources. I mean, what's sustainable and innovative about this?
Again, though, and I've kind of,
sense.
with a story we were covering a couple of weeks ago about trees being cut down, I'm kind of now wondering at all options in advance. Is it possible that these trees were infected, that these trees were dying, and there are an awful lot of things going around that are very damaging to trees, and they said, this could be. But now we are going to find out for you, Christina.
Yeah,
but maybe these trees were infected with something or other. As I say, that's why trees have been cut down in the past.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe that would be something that culture could, clear up if there was some sort of disease in those trees there. But not many areas support such a huge environment for a huge different variety of mushrooms to grow in. But once such heavy machinery goes on the ground like that, it thickens the forest floor and
plus, of course, I imagine
growth.
shade is a factor and humidity and all manner of thing. That's all gone. And if it is disease, every single tree is gone. So if that were the argument, I would have thought maybe you could be a bit more selective.
They left some young birch trees standing there, and they left some of the large conifers along the side gone, but they have taken down the hazels and they have taken down a sweet chestnut tree. Some of the beeches, they were really large, and I don't know, they didn't look diseased to me, and I've been spending, my life in forests, and it's just... you don't have many areas in arts forests or anywhere where you have such a huge environment for mushrooms to grow in. I took Kieran Sweeney of the Old Glen Bar and restaurant there last year, and he was filming there for a little live cooking event that he was engaging in later that year. And, the whole place is gone. You can't go mushroom picking there anymore, or even teaching people about it. And, it's a real loss.
Yeah, and even if it is to be replanted, you're talking years really for it to reach any level of maturity.
It's gone for my generation, and I doubt that my son's generation will see a good, forest there, and especially up there, the platform. There's a height, and you can go up the stairs to a beautiful picnic area. And what you're looking from there now on, it's nothing. It's like, there's nothing there.
And you would say this if for how it appears, this is not careful.
No, it's not. It doesn't look to me as sustainable or innovative or carefully managed. It's just gone in with such savagery.
And I think you've made the point too that if these trees were still functioning and in terms of cleaning our air and what have you. The timing of it couldn't be worse, given the fact that we're being told to shower less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't shower too long, but there we go and chop down entire forests. And, private people now, they're not allowed to clip the hedges or, you cannot cut bark anymore, but there, a whole area gets cleared.
Well, it's illegal now if you do have turf. Do not give it away, Christina, because that's actually going to be illegal from September the 1st. If I call to your house and you can't hand me a bag of, you might as well hand me a bag of drugs.
I haven't got turf anyway.
But if you did, that's where we're at now. Okay, and this is one of those ones, Christina, because even if we get an explanation, whatever the reason is it's lost now. So
it's
we
lost,
can't fix
gone.
it. We can't reverse it.
It cannot be brought back, and it's a shame, and it's a huge loss for all of us.
Yeah.
And Fulcher Island was planning. I don't know if this is still in the pipeline, but Fulcher Island is planning a huge project in the arts to make it more accessible for tourism, but with a minimum impact on the environment. And which tourists are going to look there? If they take that path along arts, and look Armageddon.
Yeah, some calls are coming in though, and pointing out reasons why. One caller says, Christina, this is only a small area of Ards Forest Park, and there are loads of other areas in the park for the likes of picnics and mushrooms. And another caller said, and I kind of said this to you at the start, that these trees were set to be cut down, so you got used to them. Maybe mid-process they were grown, which is really quite sustainable if that's what's happening. They were grown for wood, cut down, and then they'll be regrown. I mean, that's sustainable forestry, isn't it, Christina? Even though if it's quite a bit of a shock and awe to look at.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If a huge area is getting cleared like that, it's gone. It's like, for me personally, it was an easy accessible forest to go to. I have a walking disability and I cannot walk very far. And this was just a place that offered it all, and you just can't bring it back. And there's not a whole lot of areas in arts where there is such a huge variety of mushrooms there, not from what I have seen. And I've checked many areas in arts for them. And this was a very special place for this, and this is gone.
All right, listen, thanks for your time, Christina, for highlighting that with us. As I say, I saw your pictures, and it's unfortunate to see, but we're hearing some reasons as to why it may have been the case or not. But we'll get a statement from Quilcha and pass it on to you. And as another person said, maybe there's other areas of the forest to explore. But thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, I hope they don't, continue in arts like that.
Understood. I get you. I get where you're coming from. All right, lovely stuff. Thank you, Christina. 08660 25,000. Nice to see so many of you listening and getting in touch on a Monday morning. Greg, why do you not get the spokesperson for the Green Party in Donegal to come on the show and explain the Greens' position on this new law? This is the turf law. Well, listen, yeah, of course, we'll invite him on, no problem. This government plans to ban you from giving away a bag of turf, yet they will allow you to land fish in Killybegs. They will not allow you to land fish in Killybegs for human consumption, and you have to send 40 lorries at a time from Killybegs to Derry to bring the fish by road to Killybegs. Carbon footprint, this government has lost the plot. It's a lot of... listen, you've made your point, and it's a legitimate one, no doubt about that. This caller says, I attended the fishing public meeting on Saturday in Killybegs. As someone who's lived in Killybegs my entire life and was brought up on fishing, it was enraging listening to the minister talk in circles without answering any questions in a straight manner. Then he said he had full confidence in the department officials and the SFPA. This is absolutely ridiculous. I left that meeting angry. The minister had the opportunity to tell us he would fight for us. He has obviously forgotten the people in this county. Put him where he is. We will make sure he never has that opportunity again. There'll be very few votes for Charlie or Fianna Fáil in the area going forward. Another caller says it's ridiculous that the drivers are being fined every 30 minutes for blocking the city. Is there no longer the right to peaceful protest? I haven't seen that. I think in terms of peaceful... I don't know about the fines, by the way. I haven't seen that yet. But in terms of peaceful protest, I think that's perfectly fine. I'm not sure you can... It's fully peaceful if you seal off a city, if you know what I mean. And I think that might be where they're getting them. I don't know. Many of the people coming from Ukraine are coming from big cities. In my area, 15 came and the next day 9 left again. These people are not used to rural Ireland, and bringing them here is not suitable to them. More thought needs to be given to the sustainability of where they are being left. A caller says, tell that girl she has to discover Merva in our area. To me, it's a fairy tale woods, fabulous pine trees, over 100 years old. Beach there too. Great it is. Merva is beautiful. You just wonder sometimes... if you'd land to Merva one day, will it all be cleared? Or parts of it cleared? I don't know. Grown for a purpose, ? Says a caller. Quilcha cannot manage our state land. They plant the wrong trees in the wrong place. Good luck with trying to contact them. The trees should have been cut by hand, not heavy machinery. Why are you trying to defend the indefensible? Culture are brutal. Not defending the indefensible, simply just trying to have a full conversation covering all bases. I'm not in the business of defending Quilcha. A caller says, if hotels are getting paid a blank cheque to take people in from the Ukraine, people who own private residents who take people in should also be compensated. Also, we have a housing crisis going on at the moment for mica homeowners, etc., and this cannot be put on the back burner. And then there's more comments that have come in on various issues, including before Tony Holohan's announcement about his decision not to take that position. His decision, I think the timing and the way it was phrased, Micheál Martin pausing the process, allowing space for Tony Holohan to make his decision. I thought that was all really quite interesting and completely predictable.
Let's call out his name. Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
Are you thinking of making the switch to electric? Come visit us in iMotors, Donegal's SEAI EV Dealer of the Year 2022. We will answer any questions and help you make the switch. With our award-winning lineup of Kia EVs available now, come visit us at iMotors in Letterkenny and Malin.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
This is a notice for all tractor and agri-plant owners. Minimise your downtime when you need tyres and call Donegal Tyres Donegal Town. We can go to you and fit your tyres on site or repair your existing tyres if you have a puncture. Don't waste time and leave the hassle to us. So call Donegal Tyres now on 074 9721 482 to organise your call out.
The whole garden actually took 20 years from 1984 to about 2004 to actually have the paths laid out and the basic form. And then, of course, the planting, that's the exciting part, because that's lifting. And I take plants, as I call it, for a ride in the wheelbarrow until I find where they're happiest.
That's Down the Garden Path, a new series Wednesday nights on Highland Radio, after the news at 8 p.m.
Okie doke, welcome back to the programme. Couple of guests joining us now. First, we'll say good morning to Kathleen. Kathleen, how are you keeping?
Not too bad.
All right, okay. You had an experience with the local hospital at the weekend, Letterkenny University Hospital. Can you tell us how events unfolded for you?
Yeah, we were suggested to go down, or sent to go down to Letterkenny Hospital on Friday evening by NowDoc. So we headed down and we arrived about 8:30 to a crowded emergency room.
Can I ask before we get into do you think you being sent to NowDoc was justifiable, or could you have got an appointment and got it sorted? I don't want any personal information, Kathleen, but what's your sense on that?
At the time, yeah, I thought, although it wasn't an extreme emergency, I thought being the weekend, personally, I didn't want to leave it, until trying to get a doctor's appointment on Monday morning.
Right, so 8:35 p.m. on Friday night, you land into the hospital.
Yeah, so we checked in or whatever. My daughter was triaged about 9:30. It was so packed, we asked, could we go out and sit in one of those huts, which was fine. We went and sat out there at 20 to midnight. 20 to 12, they come out to tell us that they had colour-coded files, that it was extremely busy. There's approximately 70 people in the emergency room, that's behind the door. There's another 20 people in the emergency waiting area. They colour-coded their files. We were colour-coded green, which meant, thankfully it wasn't severe, but we were still there for a reason. And we were expecting a 12 to 14-hour wait.
Okay, right. So a minimum of 12 hours. One of the options might be, if it was practical, is to go home and then come back. That's not doable.
Not doable. I asked what happens if I go home. Now, we lived 40 minutes away, so you wouldn't take that choice lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And they said no. If you do come back and if you do go home and come back, then you start off from scratch in the morning.
All right. What about access to food, water, that kind of stuff?
No. Now, we did bring a few snacks, nothing major. Brought water ourselves, and I just said, what about food? Is anything supplied? And she's just, no, nothing was supplied. Even to go out, and to go around to the canteen, you'd have to go out, I'd still have to leave my daughter, which was a minor. And what happens if she was called, in that maybe hour that I was away, to get hot, because there's no access now anymore from the emergency room into the canteen, due to the other side being closed for COVID. So I phoned my husband, discussed it with him, and for the safety of my daughter, I felt it was safer for her actually to be at home and get food, so that's what we did. We got home, we drove home. I went to the receptionist, told her that we were leaving, and asked her to take us off the list. We got home maybe just before 1 a.m. Got something to eat, went to bed, and at 20 to 4, the phone rang. So you can imagine my alarm at 20 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Letterkenny Hospital looking for my daughter. So even after I told them we were going home, they phoned then, to say, well, where is she?
Right, so well inside the 12 hours, and also you had advised them that you were going to take her home. That you may be content enough with the initial assessment and weighing everything up. You thought, get her home, get some sleep, get her something to eat in the morning, and take it from there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And in terms of staffing, you talked about 70 plus 20, maybe more, 90 odd people. What was the staffing levels like as far as you could determine?
I couldn't determine anything, in fairness, and any staff that I did talk to, was more than nice and apologetic. Now, because we went out to the hut, you don't really see anyone being called. I think they just call when you go out to the hut. You have to tell them the receptionist that you're going out there. So they only call you if you're out. You don't hear everybody they call, if you understand me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how quick they were calling people. There was only 2 other mothers and myself out in the hut with their children. One moved in after a while because the seats became available. But when you're not well, I don't know who designed the emergency room. The seats are metal.
Not very. I've done
They're
2
hard.
12-hour shifts on them myself. They're incredibly
they're not,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and everyone's crammed in on that side of the partition.
Obviously, much of the conversation over the weekend, we were part of it on Friday and Thursday, and of course the newspapers, has been Tony Holohan's appointment and the HSE's handling of that. I mean, from your perspective, that much must actually feel like a distraction. Really, it's nothing in the wider scale of things. We should be continue focusing on the HSE's accountability to the actual hospital service itself.
Yeah. Like I can appreciate they're under pressure and everything's going on, around them, and I can appreciate maybe they can't get the staff. But the problem lies, what my opinion is, one of the problem lies in the fact that, we're trying to promote in our country work from home. COVID has really opened up, the idea of work hubs, coming to rural Ireland. But nobody's looking at the infrastructure that's actually there. Nobody's looking at the health services there. Like more and more people are coming and moving to Donegal. And you spoke earlier. I heard you saying, even about the poor Ukrainians that are coming. So it's more and more people, and they're going to have health issues. So the Letterkenny Hospital is not big enough. The capacity is not there, to take people on. My other daughter had an injury probably about 7 or 8 weeks ago. Needed an X-ray. We waited 10 hours, from start to finish.
That should have happened in your local community hospital, really.
Well, this is it, and and the thing was, if they had said, well, we can get you can get your X-ray tomorrow morning in your local hospital, community hospital, as you say, is that all right?
That's what we did 20 years ago.
Yeah, and
I remember that. Like that's stitches or that type of stuff. You could get that done in Donegal town. Now, if they did an X-ray and there was something wrong, I presume maybe they would say, look, you're going to have to go up there. But you were being seen in the first instance locally, and I think probably 8 or 9 times out of 10 that would do.
Yeah, and when I talked to the radiologist when I was down with the other daughter, she did say like there should be some kind of a system like a majors and a minors. That you can. So the ones that are very unwell and have the space to sit, and have the space to be treated.
Because you've got people in there with suspected heart attacks or stroke, and I've sat beside them myself. I'm not making it up. And then others sitting there with a twisted ankle. Is it ligament damage or is it broken? Those are to sort of have one queuing behind the other. It's one size doesn't fit all. As you say, there should be major and minor.
Yeah, like they're building Carindona has its own, X-ray service. They've just built this new medical centre in Buncrana, that's going to have an X-ray service. But those are only X-ray services by appointment, from my understanding. I know Cairns not by emergency, or by, even if, as you said, if they could do it in the local hospital, if it happened on a Wednesday night, say, well, sure, you go in tomorrow between 1 and 2 and they'll do an X-ray.
Mm-hmm. Well, but Kathleen, listen, thanks for helping us highlight it. I hope everything's okay.
Yep.
You didn't have the best weekend.
No, well, sure, it was grand. As long as she's all right, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
But,
Isn't that
it's just disappointing for the people of Donegal.
That's what it comes down to. All right, that they're okay, but I appreciate you helping us highlight this. Tara joins us as well. Hi, Tara.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm fine. You had your experience with LUH. This time it was you were with your dad. Is that right? Tell us what happened.
Yeah, my dad was admitted 3 weeks ago. He's been waiting on surgery for 1.5 years, which has been cancelled twice in Letterkenny Hospital. He's been promised it about 7 times. He was referred to another hospital in Dublin, and he was getting the surgery done there. And his consultant in Letterkenny had cancelled it and said no, that he would do the surgery. The day before the surgery, the consultant cancelled the surgery again in Letterkenny, sent him home. 3 days later, he was admitted again back into Letterkenny Hospital. He's in severe pain constantly. He needs irrigation every day. He's been accepted into Galway Hospital. It'll be 2 weeks past on Friday, and he still hasn't been transferred.
And that's something presumably someone has to sign off on. A decision has to be formalised. That's what we're talking about there, I presume. A team has to say, right, we're not going to do it. We'll hand it over to our colleagues in Galway.
Yeah, that has been done, and
Right.
he's been accepted by a consultant in Galway to do the surgery. But the problem is they keep saying there's no beds. And as I said, he's sitting in Letterkenny now this last 3 weeks. Last Friday, he waited on a doctor from Friday till Monday afternoon, which is completely unacceptable as an inpatient in the hospital.
And he's been effectively an inpatient there for 3 years now.
Yeah, he has.
Would this operation resolve many of these issues, Tara?
Yes, it will.
That must be incredibly... The word frustrating is almost overused. It's heartbreaking because if this was done on day one, where would you all be now? You wouldn't be on talking to me, and he wouldn't have endured 3 years of pain and discomfort.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
And listen, there's a litany of stuff here that you've experienced. You've talked about the cancellations, potentially having it in Dublin, then that being cancelled locally. I don't know how all that works. Hard to contact the team, and then his general experience over the last 3 years. You talk of pain caused to him because of how his catheter was changed, that it wasn't done correctly. Accessing drinks which are available at the hospital, but having to head out to a chemist. Like, it's one thing, it's a litany. Now, it's over a long period of time, but it seems to be like one thing after another, to the point, can I ask, in your heart of hearts, do you feel he's in safe hands at the moment?
I don't feel that he's in safe hands, no. We as a family are incredibly worried and concerned about the care that he's getting at Letterkenny Hospital.
He's also had COVID and recovered from it as well. Did he catch that in the hospital?
Yeah, he contracted COVID a week after he was admitted. And now he's on day 14 of his COVID. Thankfully, it didn't affect him badly.
Good.
But the standard of care, like having to ring nurse management at 9:15 at night to get irrigation hooked up, you know, it's completely unacceptable. Like the 2 incidents with the catheter, where instead of the catheter being released, it was blew up, which caused significant pain, and still quite a bit of pain ongoing since that issue a week and a half ago. And the same thing happened on Tuesday.
Yeah,
with the catheter again.
And that, I can imagine, causes great discomfort.
Yeah, great discomfort, pain, and bleeding as well.
Oh, God help him. So you want him, presumably, in Galway, getting this operation just as soon as possible?
As soon as possible. He needs the surgery urgently. We're at the stage where we can't take him home because he needs to be on irrigation now every day.
Can I ask, with these incidences, you talked about the last one, issues as it relates to getting dietary supplements and having to head out, even though they're available in the hospital, because staff wouldn't give them to him. That's your claim. Like, have you spoken to anyone in management? Has anyone said, this is not acceptable, or even said, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened? Like, is anyone accountable as such, in your view?
I've brought it to the attention of the ward managers as such, because Dad was in a short stay ward first and then transferred to another ward. And I've brought it to the attention of the ward managers, and, you know, the answer is, oh gosh, that's terrible. Like the first issue with the catheter was to be dealt with under management. I haven't heard anything back from that, and neither has my dad.
All right. When do you know if and when he'll get his operation in Galway?
Well, we're hoping that it will be this week, but they won't give us a day. They keep saying there's no beds.
And I mean, obviously, all our thoughts are with what your dad is going through. He must feel like an experiment at this stage, you know, the way he's being passed around. And I don't mean that in any way with humour. I mean, literally, it must feel like that. But the wider family, this impacts on everyone, the head of the household really effectively, going through this for such a long period of time. It's a huge pressure on all of you. It's not just him, though. That's who our principal concern with. It's all of you. And of course, you're probably at your wit's end before you'd speak to me as well, if the truth be told, you know.
Like my dad has said to me that he's lost over a stone in weight in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
You know, which isn't good. He's stressed. He's worried. It's affecting his mental health.
Yeah.
An awful lot at this stage.
It's hard to keep it together.
Yeah. He's
Right.
finding it very, very difficult.
Okay, well, listen, fingers crossed he gets that appointment, gets in and gets that operation done as quickly as possible and gets home to you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right. Okay, listen, I appreciate your time. There's much more detail in your email. Because there's processes we have to go through, there's certain things we can and can't say just at this point, but we appreciate you giving us the outline of it. Texts are coming in saying we've had similar experiences. These patient surveys tell us that all's good down there. But my experience of talking to people like yourself and many, many others is that their experience is very different, Tara.
Yeah, it is. I'm waiting on a call since Friday morning from one of the bed managers, and I still haven't received that call.
Is this in Galway or Letterkenny?
Letterkenny.
Okay.
Letterkenny.
And what would that call be for, Tara? Pardon my ignorance.
The guy is supposed to be management. He's head management over the bed managers in the hospital, and I just wanted to discuss what is the possibility of getting a bed in Galway, or what is the hold up.
You just want answers.
Yeah, we just want answers. If they come back to us and say, yes, your father will get a bed next Tuesday, that would change things for Dad and ourselves.
Yeah, well, he'd have a target, so he could maybe, hopefully, get his head around that. And of course, I get that 100%. Stay in touch with us, Tara. Let us know what goes on, okay? And as I say, I just pass on our best wishes to your father if you're speaking to him. I'm sure that's not just from me, that's from others as well. And I hope it gets solved just as or resolved as soon as possible so he can start getting better, because he can't at the moment.
Yeah, no.
He's getting worse. Okay. Listen, thank you, Tara.
Worse is right.
Yeah, best wishes. I appreciate it. Mum, who's 90 years old, we took her to the ED. This is a lady now who's 90 years of age, and you can only imagine how much she's contributed to this country over those 19 years and will continue to do so. She waited 10 hours for treatment. All they did was glue her cut. We found the actual treatment very unsatisfactory, very little care given to her at her age, 90 years. Now, there are specific targets for treating people aged over a certain age, and this listener's mum well above that age, and 10 hours well beyond those targets. Hi, Greg. I had an appointment last week in the hospital in Dublin for an operation. When I asked, do I ring the day before, see have they a bed, I was told no, come and be bed for you when you get to Dublin. I was told no bed and go home. Right, so they rang in advance. Was there a bed? Just come, the bed's there. Got there, no bed, away up the road again. Crazy stuff altogether. And all the while, we have private hospitals on this island who have no end of staff that can do really complex operations in no time at all. And that is a private system, and the HSE pays into that as well through the refund scheme. And then we've got this other area of health that seems like an absolute, I'll try and choose my words more carefully, that there's serious issues with. So it's about money, it's organisation. I don't know. It's not acceptable.
At McGee's.ie, you can create gallery quality art on canvas from your favourite photo, direct from your phone, laptop or PC. Simply upload your favourite photo and have it printed on canvas, transformed into gallery quality art for as little as $44.95. Delivered to your door, ready to hang. Big pics, small prices at mcgee's.ie.
This is the new Toyota Yaris Cross, a new kind of SUV, a new point of view, new compact style, new spacious feel, and exclusively self-charging hybrid. The right choice for today. Get a new perspective with the Yaris Cross self-charging hybrid. Available now at Kelly's Toyota, Port Road, Letterkenny, or Drumby, Mount Charles. You'll never take a wrong turn with Toyota. Built for a better world.
Years ago, I used to dread my motor insurance renewal. Then a friend told me about O'Malley Scanlon Insurance in Ballybofey and Dunlow. They do all the hard work. They contact all the major insurance underwriters and they get the very best possible quote for me. They have saved me a small fortune over the years and they could do the same for you.
When your insurance comes up for renewal, contact O'Malley Scanlon Insurance at their Ballybofey office on 9131020 or their Dunlow office on 952206. O'Malley Scanlon is regulated by the Central Bank. Bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. €2,500 must go. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30pm sharp. Snowball €4,900 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. Halfway House Burnfoot.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Thinking of a sun holiday with the family? You can now fly to Barcelona 3 times weekly this summer with Ryanair and enjoy some of Europe's best family campsites. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Okay, so the weather forecast today reads as follows. This morning, mostly dry and cloudy, though outbreaks of rain will move northwards over the area this afternoon. And there may be some heavy and thundery bursts. They'll be followed by scattered showers, breezy with moderate to fresh east to southeast winds, occasionally strong. Temperatures 10 to 12 degrees. Our next guest on the programme is Diane. Diane, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sean.
Now it's Greg here.
Greg.
No, that is perfectly fine, Dan.
Sorry, Greg.
No,
Good morning, Greg.
It's just for you. It's not. I don't mind. It's just so
That's
you know,
okay.
Dan.
Sorry about that.
I've been called an awful lot worse, even as recently as this weekend. And your experience was a hard one. Started getting chest pains.
Went in with chest pains and shortly after 5, and I had to wait for about an hour and a half for the triage nurse. So after I saw the triage nurse, I was sent back out again to wait, and I would say it was about 2 to 3 hours after that I got some bloods done and an ECG. And I was told I was a priority patient because with the chest pains and the heaviness in my chest. And I said, well, I don't want to be priority over children. There's a lot of children waiting there and a lot of elderly. And I was told that I couldn't decide where I was on it. But anyway, that was okay. I had the bloods done and the ECG, and the nurse called me in to get more bloods done about 3 or 4 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor had seen me, and he said that the bloods were okay and the ECG was okay. Just needed to get the thing out of my arm, and I could go home then. So the nurse called me back in again, and I said to her what the doctor had said. She said, oh no, I don't think so. I don't think you're for home. You need to have another ECG done. So that was fine. Had another ECG done, and she said it'd be about an hour before the blood results would be back. So I waited and waited, and this was 5, 6 o'clock, and still no word of bloods. Nobody came near me. So I asked at the desk did they know what was happening, and I was told there was 2 in front of me, and then I would be next. And I waited for another hour or so, and they said, no, you're next. So nothing, still nobody calling. A&E was packed when I went on there. There was nobody left except me and one other girl, and she was called to be admitted. So at 9:15, 8:15, I went up to reception, and I said, I have to go home. I have to take my daughter to work. I could wait until 9:15, but that's as long as I can wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I was told that a medical doctor would need to see me to do an ECG by the nurse.
A third one?
And no, not the medical doctor would see the ECG.
Oh, read it. Okay, yeah, I get
read it
yeah.
and send for me as an outpatient for a stress ECG. So at 9:15, I knocked on the triage nurse's door, and I said, I can't wait any longer. I really need to go home. And I was actually quite upset at that stage. And he said, just take a seat and we'll see if whatever we can get you seen. But there was nothing. At 9:15, I just had to get up and go. And on the way up the road, the doctor rang me to say that he was here to see me. But he said, I prefer to see you, but we will send an appointment for you as an outpatient. So I sat for about 5 hours just waiting to hear that. I just think there's management is a big problem in there. Major issue. Patients just need to be kept updated, not one telling them one thing and another one telling them something else.
Yeah.
And one doesn't know what the other one's doing or who they've seen. I just don't know, is there an allocation of staff? I know they're very short-staffed and the county is getting an awful lot busier. But even a member of staff did mention to me about how short-staffed they were. And in another department in Galway, at the same size of a department, 16 people were on that night, where there was 4 in Letterkenny.
That's unbelievable. Dan, do you know now if you're okay, or do you have to...
Well, I have to wait now and have a stress ECG done, but the chest, it was a heaviness, a weight on my chest that woke me up a few times during the night. Another issue is the names being called. Patients, doctors come out with the masks on their... Everybody's wearing masks, obviously. And, just even to hear the name, if it's an English-speaking doctor, but some of them, their English, it wouldn't be the best, and that's the pronunciation wouldn't be the best, but that's not there. That's not the issue. It's just you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah, it's not an effective system.
It's not an effective. Yeah. You need a loudspeaker to have the name called clearly, because people miss out their space. And another thing, and then I'll let you go, is there should be priority for children and elderly. There was about 8 children there that night, and they were so good. But the poor wee children having to sit on no food. A lot of them were, a wee boy came in from school, and I'm sure he didn't have much, and he was waiting for a bed and peds to get his appendix out, and he had to sit to 6 o'clock in the morning from 4 in the afternoon. There's nearly always beds and peds. When an elderly man sat on a wheelchair for about 4.5 hours, who had to go to theatre, I actually asked the reception, could they take him in front of me?
He had a broken hip.
He'd fallen and he came in, and now he was in a lot of pain, but he was nodding, and I think the son or whoever was with him thought he was falling forward sometimes, sitting in a hard wheelchair. It was just a bit much after coming in from a fall.
Listen, Dan, I hope everything works all right works out for you. Thanks for helping us highlight it. All right, take care of yourself, Dan. Thank you. Apologies, heading to the news 2 minutes late, but obviously that's a very important call. We'll be back with more after the news and the obituary notices.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Foreign Affairs Minister says the EU is working to cut off the sale of Russian oil to the bloc. Simon Coveney is in Luxembourg today to discuss the latest round of sanctions against Russia. Speaking on his way into that meeting, Minister Coveney outlined Ireland's position.
The European Union is spending hundreds of millions of euros on importing oil from Russia. That is certainly contributing to financing this war. And in our view, we need to cut off that financing of war, even though it creates huge challenges and problems for the EU to solve together.
A survey has revealed that the fish weighing debacle at Killybegs is adversely affecting the southwest Donegal economy. The figures compiled by the Irish Fish Processors and Exporters Association shows that hundreds of homes and workers are being impacted by the ongoing issue. Tara Duggan has more.
The association says that 239 households are directly affected by the turning away of vessels from Killybegs. This in turn is impacting up to 300 seasonal workers directly, with to date 1,773 working days lost to them collectively. The IFPEA has described the situation as a devastating blow to seasonal workers who've witnessed their duration of work already eroded due to Brexit TCA cuts in their fish quota. The association is also also warning that if Killybegs can't function in line with other EU fishery harbours or ports, it will be placed at a competitive disadvantage due to what it says is an unfair interpretation of EU rules and regulations by a combination of the Department of the Marine and the SFPA. The IFPEA says this will ultimately lead to job losses and further devastating impacts for the wider community.
A Donegal mother has described the situation at Letterkenny University Hospital as unsustainable following a weekend visit to the facility. Kathleen's daughter was instructed to attend the ED on Friday night, and after a number of hours there, staff told her that it could be a further 14-hour wait because her health complaint wasn't classed as urgent. The hospital said that if they left, they would automatically forgo their place in the queue, but Kathleen and her daughter decided to go home anyway. Speaking on the 9 till noon show a short time ago, Kathleen envisages the crisis only worsening at the hospital in the time ahead.
COVID has really opened up, the idea of work hubs, coming to rural Ireland, but nobody's looking at the infrastructure that's actually there. Nobody's looking at the health service that's there. Like, more and more people are coming and moving to Donegal, the poor Ukrainians that are coming, so it's more and more people, and they're going to have health issues. The Letterkenny Hospital is not big enough. The capacity is not there, to take people on.
Questions are being asked over why a MICA meeting wasn't facilitated between the Taoiseach and Donegal County Council. Micheál Martin was in Donegal last weekend and met with a number of affected homeowners and the MICA Action Group. However, it's thought that Taoiseach should have met with the council too to discuss issues relating to the current 90-10 scheme and the upcoming enhanced scheme. MICA Action Group PRO Michael Doherty has described it as a missed opportunity.
Donegal County Council should have been asking for help. Should have been saying to the Taoiseach's office, we really need this to happen, so as we can explain our cause and have people understand, have the Taoiseach understand why this scheme is stalled effectively at the minute. That didn't seem to have happened, or if it was requested, how come it wasn't honoured? I'm not sure which of the two it is. All I do know is it didn't happen, and it should have happened.
Weather now this morning will be mostly dry and cloudy. Outbreaks of rain will move northwards over the area this afternoon, and there may be some heavy and thundery bursts. Top temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with the headlines for you at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notices for Monday morning, the 11th of April. The death has taken place of Edith Kelly, Closhfadrick, Carandonna. Edith's remains will repose at her home from 12 noon today. Removal from there tomorrow at 22:11 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in the Sacred Heart Church, Carandonna, followed by cremation in Lakelands Crematorium in Cavan. The funeral mass can be viewed live on carandonnaparish.com. The death has taken place of Annie Ward, née McCluskey, in her 101st year, 56 Lisnara Road, Donamanna. Reposing at her home today from 12 noon. Funeral leaving her home on Wednesday morning at 10:20 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Killina at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to Motor Neuron, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live on the Donaghady Parish YouTube. The death has taken place of Harry Doherty, Ballintemple, Fulcara, and formerly of Baltony, Gortahork. His remains are reposing at his home, house private until 11 a.m. this morning. Wake is for family, friends and neighbours. Funeral Mass in St Finian's Church, Fulcara, this afternoon at 1 o'clock, with interment afterwards in the adjacent cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed live on the parish webcam and on the Kieran Roherty Funeral Director Facebook page. The death has occurred of Enna Winder, Little Bridge, Dunlow. Her remains are reposing at her home. Funeral Mass this afternoon at 12 noon in St Crona's Church, Dunlow, with interment afterwards in Mahery Cemetery. And the death has occurred of Bernadette Cox, Arranmore Island. Her remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral Mass this afternoon in St Crone's Church, Arranmore, at 12 noon, with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. House is strictly private to family only, please. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to Dunlow District Hospital Patients Comfort Fund, care of any family member, or Sean McGlynn, Funeral Director. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
And you're very welcome back to the programme. Still plenty to keep you informed and entertained over the next 2 hours. All we need is your company and your calls and comments to 086 60 25,000, WhatsApps and texts to that number, or call 07491 25,000. Right, I was at the meeting in Killybegs on Saturday evening. The minister was an embarrassment to himself and the people of Donegal. He was so far away from the reality of living as a normal person. I voted for this man in the last election. What a fool I was. Is the credit for him turning up at that meeting, though? Obviously, it would be a... Anyway, sure, we'll speak to him later on and try and tease things out for everyone that wasn't at that meeting. We spent 20 hours in ED this week with an elderly lady over the space of 2 days waiting to be seen. Another caller says, I think Letterkenny ED's being bombarded with people who are getting nowhere with the GP and consultants cancelling appointments. We're constantly calling 999 for an ambulance. At Christmas, she collapsed while out shopping while in hospital. She was sent to Dublin after a couple of days home. She was sent back to hospital. It's just ridiculous. There's such a rush to empty beds. Proper care is not being given. Another caller. Hi, Greg. I can relate to this caller about my mum. I rang Galway Hospital myself and I got my mum a bed. She had a procedure done all in 3 days. It's all about taking action into your own hands, if you know what I mean. You have to be firm but nice. That comes in from Lily. Thanks for that, Lily. Hi, I was in for an outpatient clinic last week. There was one consultant, 3 nurses doing blood pressure, weights, etc., and stood about as there were only 5 patients there in 1.5 hours that I waited. Another guy holding the door open. Complete mismanagement of resources, says that caller. I'm not sure what that talks to more broadly, but just back from a walk there and must agree with Christina re Ards Forest. My question is, why do you not clear away the dead trees that have been lying there for the past year? They are an eyesore, to say the least. Hi, Greg. The quicker this government and the Greens get wiped out, the better. They couldn't run a bath, believes one caller. Disgusted with the minister in Killybegs on Friday. He is on another planet when elected in the programme for government. It clearly states to reform the SFPA and maintain in-factory weighing. Both have failed. 3 independent reports state that the SFPA is not fit for purposes and no action. The whole weighing problem was invented by false reports sent by the SFPA to EU Commission. These reports need to be published. Charlie needs to go. Concerned industry employee. Hi, Greg. The people will have to rise out against the turf ban. People need the turf for the fires. We can't afford the coal. Get rid of Eamon Ryan. He's not in touch with the people. This is not about cutting your own turf for your own use. This is about selling it. Argument there, I don't know. You know what I mean? If you're cutting it for your own use, fine. But it'll be illegal for you to give it. If someone was kind enough to give me 20 bags of turf, it would be a crime from September 1st. 90% of people who cut turf on their own land, they have turbary rights on it, which is title deeds owned by the people. That is written into the Constitution, and the Green Party are looking to take it away. Protest towards the Green Party should be in their garden and see what they think of that. Shocking that such post is created. This is Tony Houlihan's post that he's not taking. Shocked that such a post is created without proper process. He was given the post without public knowing, and on top of that, also 30k more than Trinity professors should be paying. His salaries, Trinity, should be paying his salary, not taxpayers' money. Every month there's a scandal. Well, this one is going away, in inverted commas, precisely how we predicted it would. Morning, Greg. Tony Houlihan. I can't read that one just out as is. It's quite a strong accusation. Log cabin parks in the long term can be turned into revenue after they serve their purpose by being transformed into high-end holiday camps like those in Europe. This might require too much logic, though, so it will never happen. Well, you see, they're not going to build them out in. They're not going to build them out in the Great Wilds like that place down in Longford. What's it called? Centre Parks. I mean, these would be built in urban areas. With facilities, with sewers and all that kind of stuff, in Buncrana, Letterkenny or elsewhere. I'm not sure, could they be transformed then into high-end holiday camps after the fact? I'm not sure. Maybe they could. I'm not saying you can't have a high-end holiday camp in Letterkenny. I just can't see who would you be marketing that to, but I could be very wrong, of course. Hi, guys. I received my government credit on my ESB bill of €200. My most recent bill is less than that as I moved to a different provider. I'm wondering, will the balance be transferred over to the new provider? My understanding is that it will. How much precious diesel did lorries use up bringing fish from Derry to Killybegs? No word of a carbon footprint there. Yeah, indeed. Good morning, Greg. Just on fostering, you talked about it on Thursday. Wonderful for children. However, I hear your guests stress how much they try not to upset stabilisation of children, yet we are bringing poor Ukrainian children all the way across Europe to Ireland. Not better to keep these poor children as near as possible to their homes in neighbouring countries? I don't see the logic there at all, to be honest with you. First of all, the neighbouring countries cannot take any more people. They've had their populations grown dramatically. It's a balancing act. A sick Ukrainian or not sick, whichever, Ukrainian child in an area which is, potentially could be cluster bombed, or at a train station which could be cluster bombed, or in a safe house, maybe not 100% appropriate for their needs in West Ireland. I know which one I would take. It would be the second one. That's where I would send my children, not to the former. Right, okay, we need to take the bingo numbers and a break. And we've so much more coming up in the programme. We're actually going to be speaking to a couple of people from Ukraine who've moved to this country. They're going to be joining us in studio. We're going to find out what the story is with them. We are also going to have Minister Charlie McConalogue on the programme. What else, Caroline? There's other stuff as well. Loads to keep you entertained over the next hour and 45 minutes. Entertained and informed. Okay, but we will take a break for those bingo numbers. Rejoin us shortly.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday the 11th of April. You're playing on the green sheet. The reference number is S11. It's game number 15. The numbers are 52, 4, 22, 81, 30, 7, 34, 25, 36, and finally 62. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Do you suffer from heartburn or abdominal pain? Do you experience frequent constipation or diarrhea? If you need or are waiting for an endoscopy consultation, then why not come see us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Sligo, where we provide excellence in private healthcare. We are approved by all private health insurers, and our specialised consultants are ready to see you. Avoid long journeys and longer waiting lists. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.ie for more information, because life matters.
Journey's End by the late best-selling author Colm Keane is out now. In it he reveals how death is not an end, but a new beginning. Journey's End, Colm Keane's last book on the subject of death and dying, in bookshops now.
Break free from the same old, same old. Join a community where people can grow and be at their best. Join ZincWorks and develop software for the biggest companies in the world, working with 5G and financial services. We value learning. We want you to be a better engineer every day you work with us. We value teamwork. We want you to learn from your peers and help your peers learn. We are now hiring across our offices in Athlone and Letterkenny. See zincworks.com/careers.
The award-winning Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic Gidor offers the most advanced skincare treatments for men and women, treating conditions such as acne, skin tags, rosacea and scarring. As a qualified aesthetics practitioner, Mary Ferry offers a range of anti-aging treatments including dermal fillers, thread lifts, profilo, skin boosters, microneedling and LED light therapy. Hair and makeup also available. Download the Genesis Salon app today or call 07495 32575.
There's amazing deals every week at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Great specials in tools, hardware and homeware. If you're a tradesperson or you're doing a one-off job, you'll find everything from power tools to hand tools and paint to work clothing. For great weekly deals and a great selection, visit Watson Hire at Kiltoy, Letterkenny. For more information, visit the Facebook page or see watsonhire.ie.
Our next guest is Father Paddy Byrne. A very good morning to you, Father Paddy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg, and greetings to all in the Highlands.
It's good to have you with us. Right, now, you were watching TV or reading, I'm not sure how, Olympic medalist Kelly Harrington, and you noted her wife, Mandy Loughlin, and wished them well on their wedding, but decided to talk about, the church and its role in not blessing such partnerships. So what was the thrust of what you had to say then, and why, actually, really, Father Paddy, sorry?
You're okay, Greg. And I suppose the thrust of what I'm saying is very much grounded in the week many of your listeners find themselves following, Holy Week. It's a week where we, as Christians, celebrate that wonderful, radical love that somehow the Son of God had in a very brutal manner of a death so that we may live with him in love. And that permeates everything I stand for as a Christian and indeed as a minister of God's gospel. So when I looked at that lovely image of Kelly and her spouse, I'm very proud that Kelly is such a successful Irish Olympian, but there's something really beautiful that shines more than the gold medal from her. She's golden in every sense of the word, in her determination to engage with the sick people during the pandemic, in her ability to lift hearts. And I just thought, I'm not sure of whether Kelly and her spouse would even want a blessing from church. But in my parish, in my family, as I'm sure all our families who are listening, gay people are part and parcel of humanity. And I think we've progressed in a mighty way. And I think, I feel the God who I believe in makes me uneasy with the fact that couples who come to church, who participate in life, who make a wonderful contribution to their loved ones and family and society, are somehow excluded from even a blessing. I'm not going to sort of critique the theological nuances of sacramental blessing versus blessing, but what I am critiquing is contemporary culture. And so I asked the question, and I repeat the question to your Highland listeners this morning: if a padre can bless a car, a cow, a cat, a tractor, and I am prohibited from being available to parishioners who come seeking their love just in a way to be recognized, to be part and parcel of the life of the Christian community. I think in a church 2022, where I see, unfortunately, where I minister, wonderful people, but very few young people, and young people are crying out for authenticity, for inclusion, for compassion, for kindness, and let's own that, because that's our story. So I think what I say, ultimately, it makes sense.
Is there an argument, though, that this is these are the rules of the church? These are the beliefs. That's the belief system. And if you want to be a part of that, even if you feel you're being pushed out or not included, well, that religion is not for you, or that church is not for you.
Well, the church I belong to, it is for me. The church that Pope Francis, our leader, has really tried to ruffle feathers is telling us that, the day of the black and white certainties is over. He's telling us to be out in the field as foot soldiers where people find themselves to be. He's telling us love is love. Love is love. And he's reminding us always, who am I to judge? So I don't want to belong to a little exclusive club where people who tick the right boxes can come in and those who can't are left out.
That being said, there are some moves within that church to create exactly what you talk of. You know, if it has to get smaller to survive, well then so be it. I mean, I've interviewed people who share that view. What do you think? Does the church is not then reflective of what the majority might think, be it the clergy? I don't know what the majority of clergy might think in this regard. All parishioners, I don't know. The majority would be in favour of the blessing of Kelly and Mandy, for example, if they wanted to, wouldn't they? So the church is out of touch. It's a roundabout way of me saying that.
Well, I think there's a certain element of our tradition that needs to be challenged. And I think one of the big important things for any institution to do is to be aware of where culture is at. And I think the culture where we find ourselves, particularly among young people, particularly among the vast majority of people who live lives, is one of compassion and kindness. And that is the gospel. And therefore, while I'm not suggesting, or I'm not a maverick in terms of go ahead and do it anyway, but that I have a responsibility as a priest in a Catholic parish down here in County Laois to respond pastorally to the good people who I serve. And I think I should do that without being afraid or, God, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing?
Yeah.
The guidelines of compassion. And just, Greg, one thing that I think some of your listeners will be aware of, there is an all-island approach here to a national synod. And this synod is inspired by Pope Francis inviting frank, honest, prophetic conversations of how we engage, not just now, but particularly to building a more hope-filled church for the future.
And finally, it saddens me that there are young people who feel that they would not be welcome, you know, if they're gay, for example, or that there are couples sitting at Mass and the conflict in that, you know, they want to be there, they want to practice their faith, but their faith doesn't really see them as they are. It's sad that we have a situation that people are made to feel like that.
I share that sadness, and I share that sense of almost it's not authentic. And I think that, you know, I think we have to make our own of it. There's always been two churches, by the way, Greg, in my experience of ministry of over 20 years. There's one on the ground, and then there's this officialdom in a faraway place. But it's on the ground where we live, and it's in the bits and pieces of the grey zone where our God lives. And one thing is for sure on Holy Week, I am passionately and convicted that if the Lord was walking the pathways of 2022, he would have Kelly and her spouse at his table.
And very, very finally, I'm sure there's people who've reached out to you thanking you for speaking on their behalf. From within as well, presumably, you know.
Absolutely, I think so. And of course, you'll always have that divide, so to speak, in church as in any institution between those who crave for a more sort of galvanizing of the smaller, more certain minority. But I think the vast majority of people err on the side of love, because love is love.
Thank you very much for in what is a busy week, of course. Thank you very much for talking to us.
And good morning to all your listeners, Greg.
And you. Okay, that's Father Paddy Byrne there. He's a parish priest of Abbey Leaks. We'll take a break and we're going to play a piece of music too. Any requests or dedications? Anyone celebrating a special... There seems to be an awful lot of people got married over the weekend too. My social media is wedged with people out dolled up, looking fantastic, enjoying themselves. But any other requests or dedications, get them into us. We'll dedicate our 10:30 break for music to them.
This is your guide to smart glasses. Smart glasses often look like regular glasses, and some of them have built-in cameras. Even if you don't wear smart glasses, it's helpful to know what it looks like when someone who is wearing them is taking a photo or video. One way someone can activate their camera is by tapping the capture button on the frame. Another way is by using a voice command, like
take a photo.
So now you know a bit more about smart glasses.
A message from Meta and Essilor Luxottica.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny, your football destination store. If you belong on pitch, try a new pair of Adidas Predator Edge football boots, available in kids and adult sizes. Complete your kit with a pair of Murphy's gloves, available in many colours and sizes. Update your O'Neill shorts and socks with the all-important Gum Shield. Then you're ready to compete. Look the part, play the part. In store, online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Are you passionate about customer service? Then Concentrix wants to hear from you. Right now, Concentrix is recruiting work-at-home customer service advisors to join our growing global business in Donegal. If you're looking for an exciting opportunity where you can earn, learn and grow, apply today by searching Donegal at jobs.concentrix.com.
Remember a loved one with a personalised memorial, acknowledgement or wallet card from BizPrint using your choice of wording and background. Call in and speak to Catherine at BizPrint, Port Road, Letterkenny, or call 9177955.
Uncover Belfast this Easter and embrace a giant city experience guaranteed to surprise. Find a city alive with culture and entertainment, from festivals and live music to world-class attractions and everything in between. With great hotel deals, come for the day and stay for the night. So come on in, Uncover Belfast today. Find out more at visitbelfast.com.
We'll feel alive out in Belfast City, alright.
Sheridan Security now introducing Zero Wire Smart Alarm Systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
Okay, do you remember last week there was someone they were from down the country living in a bedroom in Letterkenny, and they were wondering, they wanted to be included on the census form, but the landlady or landlord did not want to include them because Revenue didn't know that they were renting the room out. But that's not the story here. The story was the person said, I'm not going to be included in the census, and how many others will be in the same the same boat. Well, this caller says, to the person renting a room and excluded from the sentence, request an individual form, slim blue coloured form, from your local enumerator. They will enclose your completed form in the census booklet form associated with your rental air code. You can request a large brown free post envelope if you prefer to mail your form directly to the CSO. Everyone counts in a census. Okay, thank you for that. Hi Greg, if I lodge money into my account, do you know how long it takes to be in the account? Thank you, that's the Bank of Ireland. I'm not sure of the answer to that question. Any Bank of Ireland customers there? If you lodge cash, how quickly does it go onto your account? Greg, I shop local and prefer to shop in a local shop as opposed to a shop owned by a multinational. But I have to say, I really am thinking of changing. Every time I'm fighting my way through a load of boxes all over the front door, surely deliveries should be tidied away much quicker than they are. It's an accident waiting to happen. We are creatures of habit, and you know, if you talk to someone in a butcher's or in a shop, they know when we go in and at what times. You know, we think we're all individual, and I just wonder if you happen to go in for that 15 minutes where they're unloading stuff in that shop, because you probably go to the shop every single day, and that order probably comes at the same time every single day, and they want to serve you before they start on the shelf stacking. Maybe that's just a suggestion. Right, Greg, this morning our ESB is €160. The last one was €90. As two pensioners living on the state pension, there is no way we can afford this. We are already living on the breadline. The fear of being unable to pay our way is very real. I can imagine. I really can. And understand, by the way, and when I say I can imagine, I've been there. I know what the story is. I know what it's like when you can't pay those bills. In the not too distant past either. Reef Fishing, who sold out on Irish fishing rights. It's about time we fought back. It's going back a while, isn't it? That was in the 70s. Right, in relation to a 4-year-old car failing the NCT, reason given, number plates were not of the required standard. They were the original number plates fitted by the garage when the car was brand new. The owner had to travel from Bumbeg Test Centre Dunlow, but new plates... get new plates at a cost of €35. I have a 3-year-old car with the same type of number plates. I can forward pics if you wish to see them. Thanks. Coming in from Maureen. Are people failing their NCT because certain plates were put on by a garage? Unbelievable stuff. Right. Minister for Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Minister Charlie McConalogue. Thanks for joining us this morning, Charlie, as you said you would on Friday. I appreciate it.
Good morning, Greg. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Right, okay. There's a crisis in Keelybags at the moment. What are you doing, or what can you do to resolve the situation? There's no Marine Minister wants to see boatloads of fish leaving a fishing harbour, especially in his own county.
Yeah, no, certainly not. And listen, it's a challenging situation, and I know it's something it was an issue you covered a lot last week as well. And I listened back actually to the three interviews. I know you had spoken to the Irish Fish Producers and Exporters Organisation and an interview as well with the Fish Alliance. And you had an interview, I think, on Friday or Thursday or Friday with Jeremy Bertie of Care as well, and a really good engineering company there in Killybegs. So, but listen, just first of all, Greg, just on a point that you made during that interview, that you had put it to him that if somehow this issue was happening more northern or more eastern in the county, that it might be getting more
the
attention.
country. Yeah, that was towards the media, by the way.
Pardon?
That
was towards the media.
Yeah, just in case you say that, and that was, in other words, if this were in Dublin and 300 or 400 jobs were at risk or people were being sent home from work, that was not directed at you, Charlie. I thought that was quite clear. But anyway,
no,
by the by,
that was the point, and that's fair enough. I take your point. I take your clarification on that. So listen, it's a really challenging situation, Greg. And listen, it's been a challenging situation in relation to the control plan we have in place for the last year or two now, or since the start of last year in particular. We've had a situation whereby the European Commission had launched an audit in 2018 into weighing and landing in Killybegs. Following on from that, they launched an administrative inquiry, which is an unusual thing for the European Commission to do. The European Commission are the overall control authority for fisheries across the EU. I think that was the third time that had been launched. But as a result of that, anyway, they then, in April of last year, revoked the national control plan that we had in place in the country in terms of how fish is weighed in different parts of the country. And as a result of that, from April last year until December last year, all fish had to be weighed at pierside across the country, whereas previously, up until when the control plan was in place, fish could be transported from the pierside to factories or co-ops and weighed in the factories. So the fact that we didn't have a control plan was a massive inconvenience and challenge for all fishermen right across the country. It was really important we got a control plan back in place, and the SFPA, who are the Sea Fisheries Protection Authority, who are basically the enforcement authority and oversight authority for applying fisheries law, in the same way that the Gardaí are for civil and criminal law, and also the way, for example, that the revenue commissioners are for applying a tax law. The Sea Fisheries Protection Authority had that role in relation to fishery law. So, and as such, because of that, legally they are separate from the Minister for the Marine in relation to how they carry out that. So in the same way that you won't ever see the Minister for Justice on your show talking about a legal case specifically, or in the same way you won't see the Revenue Commissioner or the Minister for Finance and talking about a tax issue. It's also legally prohibited for the Minister to be, as Minister for the Marine, to be in any way involved operationally.
So you are hamstrung, and you can't say that the SFPA how they're operating is not really is not working out really well. We need to look at how the SFPA operates, or how it's formed, or what role it has. You're saying that's outside of the scope of the government?
Oh, so the Minister has responsibility for policy, but not operational matters. So in the same way that the Minister for Justice, for example, would have been involved in relation to overall policy around setting law and overall matters from a policy point of view, but not from the actual day-to-day operational aspect of how things are implemented. That's not the role for the Minister. That said that the SFPA have the role for actually applying the laws that are in place. It's important to be aware of what those laws are. So in relation to the control plan, which is in place now from the start of this year, from the start of January, and which is due to expire, it's a temporary one until the end of April. The European Commission, given the backdrop and given the administrative inquiry and the audit that they carried out, they put in a specific requirement in that control plan that 5% of all pelagic landings landing into Killybegs or any other part of the country must be done on pierside, non-industry owned and non-industry operated weighing machine. So that's a specific requirement that the European Commission has put in as a control measure, that's an obligation on Ireland and on the SFPA as the competent authority in Ireland for implementation of fishery law to actually implement. So that's the challenge that's in place, and obviously that's that is where the challenges come from in the last couple of weeks, whereby that 5% of all landings, not right across the country over the course of the year, Greg, there'll be about 600 pelagic landings into the country. There'll be about 20,000 non-pelagic, which is white fish landings, but 600 pelagic landings. Of that, 5% have to be done by, according to the control plan, by non-industry-owned pier-side weighing. So that's about 30 out of the 600 are subject to that.
And why is it all happening at the moment then? Why, if it's a sample, could the SFPA not pick and choose which it were? Maybe apply this to smaller loads or different type of fish? Or why then is there so much focus of this 5% on blue whiting at Killybegs? Pardon my ignorance if that question's wrong.
No, so I mean, again, it's a matter for the SFPA to apply it across and to make that decision.
But do you think there's a disproportionate enforcement of this 5% recently in Killybegs, particularly as it relates to blue whiting?
Well, the obligation through the control plan is on the SFPA to do that 1 in 20 checks. It's their call then in relation to what boats that they would apply that to.
I understand that you're a little bit hamstrung in what you can comment on, but just as it relates to my question, do you believe it's worth you making an inquiry to the SFPA? I know you don't want to talk about how they operate, but does that not, as someone from outside the industry, there seems to be a particular focus in a particular area on a particular type of catch. How long have they been applying this 5%, and why is it all seemingly focused on Killybegs and blue whiting?
Well, the control plan is in place from January until the end of April, put that 5% obligation on.
Well, they must have been doing nothing between now and since January and April then.
That's a question that's a matter for the SFPA.
Well, if you're not going to ask it, who asks that question then? Who are they accountable to? Because there's a Garda Ombudsman, people, we can speak to members of the Garda Representative Association, we can speak to the Garda Sergeants and inspectors. Like, there is an accountability here. If there are questions to be asked of the SFPA and you're not going to ask them, are they unaccountable? Who are they accountable to?
They're accountable to the Oireachtas through the Oireachtas Committee on Agriculture, Food and the Marine.
Well, do you believe they should come before that committee and explain their actions?
I know they've done that regularly, and that's something that is open to the Oireachtas Committee to have further engagements with the SFPA on at any time. And they are accountable to them, to the Oireachtas through that, rather than to the Minister. They're accountable to the Oireachtas. So listen, looking at it from an overall point of view, Greg, obviously, Killybegs is massively important. Our fisheries industry is massively important. We have a tremendous, we have a tremendous fishing tradition in this country, one we want to maximise the potential of for the country. We also have tremendous industry in Killybegs in terms of the engineering industry that's been built up.
That's why we're having this conversation. We're trying to keep that, Minister. We're trying to keep it.
And that is, in terms of everything that I do, my sole objective here as well, Greg.
All right, let me ask you a question. Have you got full confidence in the SFPA?
I do. I believe they have a really important job to play. But what we do need to do, Greg, is we need to build up further the relationship between the SFPA and the fishing industry.
Are we sure there's no SFPA sour grapes here?
I think, I think they have, what they have been doing in relation to they have an obligation on themselves to apply the control plan.
But they have to do it correctly, and they have to do it fairly, and they have to do it over the span of the 5 months. You're satisfied they're doing that?
That is what they are doing, and that is the obligation that's on them. And it is important that we have and work to build the relationship that's there between industry and the SFPA. There's a consultative forum in place in relation to how they engage. Also, as you know, I attended the meeting in Killybegs on Saturday night, and obviously there's the concern expressed among the wider community in relation to the challenges there. Again, I think it's important that they would have an engagement with the SFPA to express those concerns, and so that there can be a discussion in relation to the challenges.
It feels a little bit like, though, at least in this conversation or other conversations, that it's really, you're the Minister for the Marine, right? But it's really Europe who's setting the rules and working with the SFPA, in terms of enforcing them. I mean, like, have you gone back to Europe, for example, and said, guys, I know what you meant to do here, but they're boating these fish to Derry and then they're driving these lorries down to Killybegs to be processed. This is in my constituency. Give us a derogation or sort something out here, because it's not very green to start off with, and it's we are sidestepping this very, very easily. So clearly, their regulations aren't making any sense. Can you not go to Europe and do that and make that argument as the Marine Minister? And if so, why aren't you, and when are you going to do it?
So listen, I've been engaged with Europe over the last year very intensively on this matter because, of course, we have had our control plan revoked last April, which is the first time ever the European Commission have revoked a control plan for a member state. And they revoked that on the back of the audit and the administrative inquiry that they had carried out in 2018 and 2019. Now, the SFPA then had been were engaged with the Commission in relation to getting a new control plan in place. I then impressed upon the Commissioner in the run-up to Christmas, just passed, of the absolute importance of ensuring that a control plan would be in place and that the Commission would engage with the SFPA to ensure that a control plan would be in place. As a result of that engagement, the Commission agreed with the SFPA a control plan which is temporarily in place now from the 1st of January until the end of April, and which runs out at the end of this April. Now, the SFPA are again engaged with the Commission in relation to seeking to put a permanent control plan in place, which would ensure that we can have a control plan which allows weighing in factories and allows weighing in.
And you can't even make representations to the SFPA, can you? I mean,
no. The operational
they're completely alluring to themselves.
The operational side of it is that the SFPA engages with the Commission, but it's really, really important we get a control plan in place. And obviously, I have emphasised the importance of that to the Commission and to the Commissioner. But
this is a very urgent.
Just let me finish this point.
Yeah.
The situation we are in with regard to the Commission, obviously, is that the backdrop to this is the fact that they carried out an administrative inquiry and an audit, which they are still pursuing and is still in train, and which potentially coming out of that there is the potential for a fine in Ireland in terms of overfishing. So that's something.
Okay. Well, if the SFPA,
just let me finish
briefly, please.
In relation, so moving on from that, then there is now a temporary plan in place, but as part of that, it requires 1 in 20 or 5% of landings to actually be weighed in non-industry owned machinery at the pier site as opposed to in the factory.
Yeah, but I would presume if the SFPA are on site, okay, and they have the trust of the Commission, right? Can the SFPA then not work with the industry here and weigh these fish in the water, sign off it and say, look, you can be assured there's nothing, there's no mismanagement of this landing or anything. We are satisfied that the amount of fish landed is the amount of fish that we are declaring. Can the SFPA not work with the industry to do that rather than following the exact letter of instruction with from the Commission?
Yeah, and I think, and I mean,
but the SFPA aren't doing that. That's why I asked you the question: is there some sour grapes going on here?
Well, no, there needs to be engagement between the SFPA and the industry in relation to that. And the SFPA have, and there's an obligation on them, obviously, to do it on non-industry-owned weighing machines at the pier side. That's not something that they have discretion over for the 1 in 20, that is the audit landings. The SFPA have engaged with the industry around potential solutions as to how they can ensure that
use
water...
up the 5% that's not on blue whiting, for example.
The SFPA have been engaging with the industry in relation to trying to identify solutions then in relation to how you can ensure that fish is weighed in water and that the quality of it isn't damaged. So, for example, the proposal that, or one of the options that is there, and I think which needs further explanation between the industry and the SFPA, and which I have no doubt that there will be, is the industry have a weighing and separation machine on the pier side, which can separate water. Or can separate fish from water and can put the water into the tanks or into the lorries before the fish goes in there, and then as the fish gets weighed, the lorry or the tank gets weighed with the water in it, and then subsequently then the fish is put in and the two are deducted off.
Yeah, I'm presuming that process there's going to be damage to these fish, though.
No, well, that would be something from what I can observe that potentially could be a solution, and there needs to be further engagement between the industry.
I'll say, like, you are the Minister for the Marine. This is your county as well as mine and everyone else is listening. This is, as you know and you heard at the weekend, this is not just processing plants. This is people's jobs. This is the local shops, the local other businesses. This is the people that supply equipment. This is a devastating impact, not only on Killybegs, but all around it. And to be honest with you, it sounds a little bit like, to me, Minister, that you can do nothing and you're just going to let this play out. And that's...
No, first of all, Greg, I mean, my objective is to support the sector and the development of the sector in every way possible. And that has been absolutely my core objective, and everything that I've done in the sector has been to support it, whether it's investment in piers or harbours, whether it's coming forward with the various schemes now to invest in the processing sector or to invest in new developments. That's absolutely everything that I'm about. But there is also alongside that, as there is in every member state across the EU, because we have a quota system, and my job is to fight to increase that quota at every opportunity, which I do. But then in relation to the quota that we have, there is a requirement on us to monitor that and manage that, and that's overseen and through the control plans, etc. And then that job and that role is carried out by the SFPA.
Yeah.
So listen, it's important that works well. I've outlined there the challenges that we've had over the last couple of years in relation to the audit.
I understand that. You've mentioned that a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, and the administrative inquiries that are in place.
But it's about the implementation. It seems to me to be an implementation issue. But I appreciate
how the control plan was revoked, how a temporary one is now in place, how it would be important to ensure that we get a permanent one come the end of April, so that we don't have the situation that we had last year, where at every pier side right across the country, from April when it was revoked last year onwards, fish had to be weighed at pier side rather than co-ops and factories. It's important we get that back in place.
Okay.
And listen, any and every way I can to support the sector to bring it forward, I will. But in relation to the actual application of the control plan and the actual implementation of that, that's legally the role of the SFPA, and it is important that there continues to be engagement and a building up of trust and a relationship there between the sector and the SFPA.
Well, there's no point us going round in circles. You've made that point clearly. Lastly, before you let you go, your fellow Minister Darragh O'Brien thinks Mike is a laughing matter. Did you see his tweet? Do you think it was appropriate?
I think no one sees this as a laughing matter, Greg, and I think this is something which is a source of unbelievable anxiety and stress for the many homeowners. The absolute focus of the government here, and which we have been making good progress on, slower than I know that everybody would like, but we've made real progress on, and which we can continue to make progress on, is actually getting the scheme in place and getting people's homes fixed. And I think we all have to be very much aware of the anxiety and pressure that everybody's under in the background.
Do you think you should delete that tweet? He thought it was funny enough to video the comedian and then put laughing faces.
I think we all have a responsibility, Greg, you and me and everyone else, to actually keep focused on the job at hand here, keep focused on the fact that we need to continue to make progress to get people's homes fixed.
Definitely.
And not in any way add to people's anxiety.
So should he apologise and delete the tweet, do you think?
I think we should focus on the job, Greg, and get on with the job. I know Minister O'Brien, I know the Taoiseach, I know myself, I know all homeowners only have one focus here, which is actually to see the scheme progressed, and that's what we need to keep the focus on. And we need to be very aware in doing that, all of us, Greg, that we're not stirring up that anxiety in relation to our commentary on it.
Well, if that's directed at me, hold on a second. Let me just make one thing clear, Minister. If you think I'm stirring stuff up, right? I didn't, maybe because of ego or something, video Darragh O'Brien on the Late Late Show making a joke about Micah, right? Which the joke in itself from a comedian, that's fine, I think. I didn't video that. I didn't post it on Twitter, tag in the comedian, apologise to him and put into laughy emojis. I've no responsibility. I didn't do that. Your colleague, the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, did that.
And what I'm saying, Greg, is that each and every one of us have a responsibility to be very conscious of how anxious people are about this issue. And how important this issue is to people being able to get on with their lives and be focused on the task at hand here, which is actually getting the scheme up and running. And that's what the government's focus has been. That's why the Taoiseach visited and met with homeowner representatives and visited a home again last week. That's why we're working to progress the scheme, and that's what we need to keep our full eye and attention on.
Minister for Marine and Agriculture, and Food, thanks for coming on, answering the questions as always. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, that's Minister Charlie McConalogue.
Let's call out his name. Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
At Centra, we want to make your mornings extra special with our Inspired by Centra breakfast deal. Mix and match from succulent sausages, crispy rashers, award-winning corn-fed eggs and freshly squeezed orange juice. Any 3 for €6 until the 20th of April. Centra. Live every day.
Flanagan's massive half-price store clear-out sale is now on in Buncrana. 50% off Irish-made sofas, tables, beds, wardrobes, rugs and occasional furniture. Pay today and take it away. Furnish your home for half price. Don't miss out. www.flanagans.ie.
At ESB Networks, we're connecting Ireland to a clean electric future. And as part of the National Smart Metering programme, we're now installing smart electricity meters in your area. Your new smart meter will reduce the need for estimated bills, help you to manage your electricity usage more efficiently, and enable you to access smart electricity products and services. We'll contact you before your meter is installed. Find out more at esbnetworks.ie/smartmeter.
Bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. €2,500 must go. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Snowball €4,900 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. Halfway House Burnfoot.
You could run, you could dance, or you could just breathe. The Bernardo's Big Active, supported by Aldi, is happening in schools across Ireland right now, and it makes doing good feel great. It gets classmates of all ages active while supporting their mental health and well-being. The Bernardo's Big Active, supported by Aldi, will raise vital funds to help Ireland's most vulnerable children. Sign up today at thebigactive.ie.
Okay, let's get some further reaction to the situation in Killybegs. Liam O'Brien's an inshore fisherman in Greencastle. How are you getting on, Liam? It's not just Killybegs, is it? It's in a number of our ports. What's your comment, Liam?
Good morning, Greg. No, it's just the same. What's going on in Killybegs is ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. What's going on? Like, tell you one thing, to carbon footprints, and one thing another is well emphasised. We have vessels here, Northern Ireland vessels, what I've been telling you before. Here, we've basically a border here. It's a border, it's been put up here. We'll never put an Irish here. It was put at Greencastle due to the Brexit. We have boats that went out to fish, had to get permission, Northern Ireland boats here, to go out to fish, day boats, to go out to fish their pots yesterday. And they're sitting here today to 2 o'clock with perishable goods aboard the boat. They have no way of keeping the goods other than they're not the same as the bigger boats where they get water tanks down below.
And are they waiting on the SFPA to arrive, Liam? What's the delay? Why would they
2 o'clock, Greg. They can't discharge their... My office ordered for 1:30 to be on the pier for 2 o'clock to discharge the product out of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's live product. It's the same as what's going on at Killybegs with the blue whiting. They haven't a clue. They're telling you black is white. When the fishermen know better and try to get the product, that product will have to lie till the evening. It'll likely possibly be processed tomorrow. And not alone that, it's the water's coming out of the product will be wilt. The water will be coming out of the product, so they lost weight in it. And plus maybe the fact that it's ready to go off.
Mm-hmm.
They have, to get it fresh to the market, to the factories. And they have to get permission to go.
What is
they
the
can't
actual
land
delay,
it.
Liam? What would be the delay? Why?
Well,
there's designated times that fish can be
right,
landed. Is that all?
If I go to Killybegs now, where I have to be forced away now, and the vessel I'm skippering to go to Killybegs, possibly the two vessels will have to go to Kilkeel to fish prawns. We don't seem to have the same bother with the Northern Ireland fisheries that we have here. That the onslaught is put on the fishermen here and the fishing communities here through a very strong embargo on fishermen. It seems to be attacking fishermen here.
Yeah.
And Killybegs and on the workers, the factories, all that. We don't have that bother. We're treated like human beings, like fishermen in Northern Ireland ports. And all we have to do is notify them we're coming ashore, but we don't have to stay on over the weekends. We don't have to go and ask them. But this is a new one now. They have to get confirmation that they can go to fish and land and back into the port. One of the boats left here last week from Greencastle went to Mallinhead to do its bottom because due to the ferry back here in Greencastle that there was no room to slip the boat to do it here. So the growth at this time of year in the bottom of the boat and checking that out. He had to go to Greencastle. He was told not to go, and he had to get permission to go to Malhead to slip his boat.
Yeah, it's a tough way to
ridiculous.
operate. Yeah,
And the same people that'll come over here today will check these Northern Irish fishing boats. Will come in English registered cars and check a Northern Ireland registered boat, a third country car, which what I told you before, with Charlie McConaughey come on after the last day we had comments on this, and they will get paid by that department for a non-European car so much per mile.
Okay.
It's a joke. It's hypocrisy from the highest degree.
Liam, listen, thanks for your time as always. We've spoken a couple of times. I do appreciate it. Jared Kelly joins us too. Jared, we've very little time before news. I don't know if you want to make your point quickly or come on after the news. It's completely up to you. But you were at the meeting on Saturday. What's your takeaway from it?
I prefer to come on after.
Right, stay where you are then. All right, good man. Yeah, because I don't want to rush it. It's a very, very important issue. We'll be going to the news very, very shortly indeed. Just a quick comment before we do. Actually, you know what? I don't want to mix up the comments. I'll just read out the numbers for you. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text. 086 60 25,000. Or call 074 91 25,000. All right, it is 11 o'clock. It's time for a news update. Stay where you are. It's going to be a busy and interesting last hour. But for now, it's good morning to Catherine Gaffney.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The European Union is drafting proposals for a possible embargo on Russian oil, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister. Simon Coveney, along with his Lithuanian and Dutch counterparts, want to see the sale of oil to the bloc cut off as part of a fresh round of sanctions against Russia. A survey has revealed that the fish weighing debacle in Killybegs is adversely affecting the southwest Donegal economy. The figures compiled by the Irish Fish Processors and Exporters Association shows that hundreds of homes and workers are being impacted by the ongoing issue. A Donegal mother has described the situation in Letterkenny University Hospital as unsustainable following a weekend visit to the facility. Kathleen's daughter was instructed to attend the ED on Friday night, and after a number of hours there, staff told her that it could be a further 14-hour wait because her health complaint wasn't classed as urgent. Questions are being asked over why a MICA meeting wasn't facilitated between the Taoiseach and Donegal County Council. Micheál Martin was in Donegal last weekend and met with a number of affected homeowners and the MICA Action Group. Serious concern has been raised over what's been described as a large clearance of trees at Ards Forest Park. The popular amenity near Creasla is home to a vast number of mature trees and wildlife. However, it's understood that a substantial amount of trees have been taken away in recent weeks. It's not yet known why such a significant felling has taken place, but it's thought it could be a sustainable move. And pay is one of the issues set to top the agenda at the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors annual conference, which gets underway today. The Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, is also expected to announce that body-worn cameras for Gardaí will be trialled within the next year. That's it for now. We're back with more at 12 noon.
And you're welcome back. Okay, we still have Jared Kelly on with us. Jared, thanks for holding there. Appreciate it.
Okay, Greg, no problem.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, Greg, I travelled to Killybegs from Greencastle on Saturday because I admire the people in Killybegs. I've been visiting it for 50 years. I see how it has grown and the world-class people, both fishermen and service industry that are there. And I admire them to the highest point. I'm also a fisherman myself. I'm involved in the agriculture sector, and we got badly hit by the same department and the same minister. The minister talks a lot about a control plan and leaves everybody a bit confused. All it simply is weighing fish. And the minister wants us to put the people to put their fish through a third country system when they have got first-class system in their factories. They've got cameras there that can be seen from the SFPA. There's about 160 people working on the SFPA, so I can't see why they can't go to the factories everywhere the fish has been weighed, and they'll get them weighed to the nth degree.
But if they're directed by the Commission to weigh 5% of landings at the pier, there's no way around that, is there?
It's actually time that we decided to tell the European Commission what we're going to do with our fish. These are our fish. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the people who fought a Supreme Court case to get the fish recognised in our waters as our natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
These are our fish, and we should, if the ministers keep talking about adding value, well, we should add value rather than destroy value. And the current system is destroying value, destroying the product, destroying the market, and destroying factories and destroying jobs. And the minister needs to start listening to the people and representing the people amongst the European Union rather than representing the European Communion amongst the people. That's enough of this crap, and it's gone on long enough. And my sector has been devastated by it. Other sectors have been devastated by it. And now the pelagic sector in Killybegs, which is one of the world-leading businesses in Europe in fisheries production, is going to be devastated by it as well.
I mean, at the end of the day, to break it down into simple terms, if I had a favourite shop I went to, and I went and I didn't know when it was open or if it was closed, I'd go somewhere else. That's what's going to happen, isn't it, in Killybegs? Skippers aren't going to... I know there's a bidding process and what have you, but presumably that's all going to be factored in. And in the long run, there's reputational damage here. This could have long-lasting effects on the viability of Killybegs.
Yeah, well, if you buy on an electronic platform, part of your agreement that is you're going to take those fish and you're going to take them, you're going to direct the boat to which port you want it, and that's the conditions you buy the fish under. What do you tell that guy then? Says you have to now leave this port, sail for 12 or 14 hours, go up to Derry and miss a couple of days fishing yourself, and we then have to buy the fish at those same prices we agreed, but the fish actually become nearly 2 days older by the time we go to process them. This is crazy stuff. This is totally unnecessary. And we are a small island out on the Atlantic, and it's too bad that our minister can't step up to the mark. Now, I asked for a vote of confidence to see whether people in the meeting had confidence in Charlie McConlough, and they are a resounding no.
Okay.
Now, I have to say I was cowardly in asking that question because I knew the answer before I asked it. Because
I understand.
That's all I have heard around the country for quite some time. But I also asked about the people who are really running their fisheries as civil servants, and most of them just would feel that they are despised by the civil servants rather than respected. Totally despised.
Gerard Kelly, thanks for your time this morning. I appreciate it. Cormac Burke is chair of the Irish and Seafood Alliance. He joins us now. Good morning to you, Cormac. Thanks for taking the call.
Good morning, Greg.
Right. Okay. How do you think the meeting went on? I was pleased to hear the minister turned up. I think it would have been easy not to make an excuse not to, but he did. What was the mood of the meeting? How do you think it went?
Well, as I said at the meeting, there was mixed feelings about the minister turning up. Some would call it brave, some would call it stupid, but I felt that what he should have, the responsible and respectful thing to do, would be to come and sit and listen, and at the end of the meeting just say, okay, I have heard your concerns and I will give it my consideration.
But the approach instead was to pretty much presumably give the same answers that we got on this programme. I'm not sure if you heard the interview, to give the same answers we gave on he gave on this programme to those from within the industry at that meeting. Is that how it turned out being?
I openly said to him that I felt that coming and using this as an opportunity to like a political rally, to spout propaganda about what he has done and what he's doing, and just patronising the people at this meeting. I felt he disrespected the people of Killybegs and the people of the industry nationwide. Right. Trying to blind these people with facts and figures and EU regulations when these people know far, far more about this topic than he does.
So instead of what ministers might stand up and stand shoulder to shoulder and say, look, I'm taking on board what you're saying, something needs to be done, I'm going to get in my car now, Monday morning, I'm going to be on to the EU Commission, I'm going to make representations, we can't be treated like this. Instead, it felt like he was justifying the directives coming from the Commission. Am I getting the sense of it correctly there?
Yes, and I think he had a chance there to say, as Gerard Kelly just said, there was a very clear vote of no confidence in the two senior civil servants in the Department of Marine and in the Minister himself. He had a chance at that point to say, okay, well, look, it's clear we need some some dialogue between the department officials and the SFPA and the minister, and instead he decided to take the option, no, I will 100% back these people.
We have to take a more favourable interpretation of these rules, though. Can that not be done? Not us, the SFPA.
Well,
put it like that.
In response to you, firstly, I'll say that in the last 25 years, there's only one remaining constant involved in the Irish fishing industry. There's not one Irish politician, not one member of the EU Commission, not one fishing industry representative who are in place today that were there 25 years ago, except for one constant, aside from the fishermen themselves. And that constant is the two senior people, the two senior civil servants in the Department of Marine. And as I openly said in my address at the meeting yesterday, this is the problem in our industry, and this is where the Taoiseach must be forced to investigate. You know, I mean, we've seen ministers, some good people, come and go, and it's quite clear their hands have been tied as soon as they were appointed.
This feels very much like the same old permanent government conversation, that there
exactly.
are people truly in power are in those positions for quite some time, be it in housing, fishing, agriculture, wherever it might be.
Well, look, Joey Morton, God rest him, when I was a reporter for Fishing News in the UK, many, many years ago, Joey Morton said to me that everyone is talking about the need for a level playing field in Europe. But he said, first we must get a level playing field at home. And at that time, I didn't fully understand what he was referring to, but it's quite clear to everybody in this industry.
What's next, Cormac? What is next here? Because, I mean, you've heard the minister. You heard him on Saturday. You may have heard him on this programme as well. You see the approach he's coming from. He's going to continue to make representations, but it's all about, from May onwards, having more permanent solutions, better workable solutions in place, and so on and so forth. That wouldn't fill me with hope that this situation is going to go away anytime soon?
No, and again, we'll have to go back to the minister, and his comments. He has confirmed he does not have policy power. He does not have operational power over the SFPA, but he does have policy power, and therefore, through the Erectus Committee, this policies can be addressed. He also repeats Ireland has an obligation to EU regulations. But what comes before that is, where is Ireland's obligation to defend and support its own fishing industry? I think the minister sidestepped some very important issues that were put clearly in front of him on Saturday, and he sidestepped them at the meeting, and he sidestepped them in interviews since that. For a start, talking about it's quite annoying to hear him say that the concerned people in Killybegs must now engage with the SFPA. Now, I know the CEO of one of the particular organisations who has met with the SFPA on no fewer than 17 occasions, and on each time has had the door slammed in his face.
That's a high level of engagement. That's a lot of engagement. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, Cormac, thanks for your insight. There's another meeting today, is that correct? Are you involved in that?
No.
Or is that's a community meeting, is it?
That's misinformation, I'm afraid.
Okay, well,
there is no member of any organisation at the meeting yesterday have been contacted by the minister, the department, or the SFPA with regards to any meeting taking place.
Ah, right, okay, sorry, I wasn't aware of that. The meeting was on Saturday. So who called the meeting in Killybegs?
Sorry?
Is there a meeting called for Killybegs as far as you're aware?
No.
Okay, right, that's fine.
That was just a suggestion made at the end of the meeting, and then someone turned it into news. It's not.
It wasn't me. Okay, it wasn't me. All right, Cormac. Listen, thanks for that. Take care of yourself. Cormac Burke, Chair of the Irish and Seafood Alliance. All right, if you have an insight into that or a view on it, obviously it's something we take very seriously. We've dedicated as much coverage as we can to it because it's an entire part of our county that's impacted by this. But the ripple effect, we talked about ripples last week, go far beyond Killybegs in itself. These are people, hard-working people, trying to make a living, trying to sustain an industry really that it seems from every angle is trying to, there's efforts to try and make it go away, but they're not. They're still working hard. They're trying to defend it, and we're doing as much as we can with my limited knowledge, I admit, in supporting that. Right, 086 60 25,000 if you wish to get involved with the conversation.
Since she got her free hearing aids with her PRSI at Specsavers, Roisin is a changed woman. Music has never sounded better, and that makes her dance. And dance. And dance. Her singing, though, well...
Free hearing aids with PRSI at Specsavers. Music to your ears. Find out more online. Terms and conditions apply.
Collins Fun Fair will be in Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th of April to Sunday the 24th of April. See Collins Amusements Facebook for Easter opening hours. Wednesday the 20th of April is Carnival Crazy Day. All rides reduced from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come along and enjoy some family fun with Ireland's largest touring fun fair, Collins, at Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th to Sunday the 24th of April.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
From the 11th of April, fares are reducing by an average of 20% on all Bus Éireann, TFI Local Link and some other TFI services. Éireann Éireann's online fares are also coming down, and student Leap Card single fares are reducing by 50% across eligible TFI services. For further information, see transportforireland.ie. See where cleaner, greener, cheaper travel can take you. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Enjoy stress-free travel this summer with Ryanair's brand new services to Birmingham, Edinburgh and Manchester. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Rightio, let's look at the weather forecast. The morning mostly dry, though it won't last long. Breaks of rain will move northwards over the area this afternoon. There may be some heavy and blustery bursts. This will be followed by scattered showers, breezy with moderate to fresh east to south east winds, occasionally strong, highest temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees. Coming up shortly, we're going to be speaking to two guests who have moved from Ukraine for obvious reasons to Ireland. We're going to find out what they left and what they found when they got here and what their hopes are for the future. That and much more besides, but we do have to take one more quick break because we packed a lot into the 10 to 11 hour. But stay right where you are. Don't forget, if you want to watch the programme, hop onto our website, highlandradio.com. You should see a workable link there where you can watch in browser, or go to Highland Radio Ireland on YouTube or Highland Radio on Facebook, and you can watch the remainder of the show.
In the darkest times, we can struggle to find the brightness. But during Darkness into Light, every person has the power to be a light against the dark. Every alarm set, every step taken, every sunrise shared helps support those impacted by suicide and raises vital funds for Pieta's life-saving work. So please join Pieta and Electric Ireland for Darkness into Light on Saturday, May 7th. Sign up now at darknessintolight.ie, because everyone who runs, walks and watches the sun rise shows we're brighter together. Proudly supported by Electric Ireland.
The cost of living? Oh. The rate of fuel? Oh. The price of 3 broadband? Ooh. Get 3 months free home broadband with no setup costs on Ireland's fastest 5G network. Only €39 per month after that. But hey, don't just take it from me. Take it from Sinead and Buncrana, who said, "It's great. We've 4 TVs, multiple laptops and PlayStations on the go. I've recommended it to everyone. I'd give it 10 out of 10. Sign up in our Buncrana store today. 3. For a better connected life. Minimum term and direct debit required. Speeds may vary. Subject to availability. Fastest 5G network based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q3 to Q4 2021. See 3.ie.
As we move into spring, it's time that we look after what is precious to us. Are you struggling with your hearing? Your hearing is an essential part of your everyday living. Hearing is our social sense and connects you to friends and family. At Connect Hearing, we are here for you with our clinics at Courtyard Shopping Centre, Letterkenny, and Joyce's Chiropody Clinic in Dunlow. Our centres are open Monday to Friday, where you can avail of our hearing test, wax removal, and repair services. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Left, right.
For children of Ukraine, innocence is in the firing line. Your donation will give them food and first aid, water and warmth. Visit unicef.ie to have an immediate impact now.
Okay, our Monday focus now is a conversation with two people from Ukraine who are now resident in Ireland. Many have found themselves in Ireland. There are over 500 people in Donegal. 200 of them are in Letterkenny. We're going to talk now to Oksana and Olana, who came here a few weeks ago. Firstly, Oksana, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. How are you keeping? How are you?
Now I'm fine. So I come down here, start to think very clear, analyze the situation in Ukraine, and of course I find what I should do here for Ukraine too.
Is it hard to believe that you are here now? I don't know how long ago it is that you thought you would never have to move your own from your own country, that you would find yourself living in the west of Ireland. It must feel it's hard to understand, is it, that you could find yourself here now?
You see, my work before was connected with the traveling. It was the working trips to the west countries, and of course I was in London. But the Ireland is it's the first time when I am in Ireland, so I can say more that I know the capital of Ireland, but I never know about the little town Letterkenny.
Okay.
So, and you see, Letterkenny is now my timely home. And
who did you leave with, and who did you leave behind?
In Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
In Ukraine, I live near Kiev. It's a little village, about 11 kilometers from Kiev, Bilogorodka. So Bilogorodka is the line of defense of Kiev. And as you hear about Bucha, Irpin, Hostomel, Makarov, Borodyanka, these towns and villages includes in the biggest of district in Kiev region, Buchansky district.
Do you know what happened to your town?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
What happened? What?
So you see, Belgorodka is suffered patiently. So of course we have the destroy of houses, the social infrastructure, and of course the strategy infrastructure. So and of course the many neighbor villages are destroyed from the Russian occupants.
What of your neighbours? Everybody didn't get out, I presume.
Our neighbors, you mean?
You're just people living in houses close to you, other people. Not everyone escaped?
Some of them, especially with the children, are escaped because we must save our children from the war, from the Russian occupants, from the Russian beast monsters.
And who did you have to say goodbye to? Who is in Ukraine? You have family there still?
No, my mother and my brother are still in Ukraine, in Belgorodka. So of course my mother says me every time it's okay, we are okay. It's the situation is better than before, but of course I am nervous about their life.
Yeah. Now, Putin has switched focus. He's switched focus to the east of Ukraine and less on the west. would you consider it safer to return to Ukraine now, or?
You see, I'm not sure that it is safety now in Kiev region. Why? Because Putin is going to lead the victory parade on the 9th of May, and from the news, I know that the Russia is going to attack Kiev again.
Yeah. Oksana, what's your situation? Sorry, Olana.
Can you ask the question which
Of
you're
course.
interested in?
Who did you leave Ukraine with?
I left Ukraine with my son. He's 15 years old, and he already studies in Letterkenny Errigal College. He likes it, I hope, because I don't have to come there with him, but he said that everything is okay, and he made some friends with Irish children.
Now, you left, your home in Ukraine is near a military base, so
Yes.
you would have felt in danger.
Yes. I, at first of all, I saw during maybe a month as soldiers were preparing for something, but we hoped it is not war. And every day, when I look out of the window, I saw how they packed everything they could. They had to, but we hoped that nothing like that could happen. And when the 24th, on the 23rd of February, I saw many trucks, many machines, many soldiers who went out of there, and that was the first slight frightness which I felt. But on the 24th of February at 6 o'clock in the morning, there was a call from my sister. She was crying and told the war began.
It started.
And we saw that it was like it wasn't a day, it was like night, everything was black. But our soldiers were were hurrying everywhere on that military base, and
It's okay, and I understand, and take your time. It's very difficult, because then you have to leave everything behind you, really. What were you able to bring with you? Very little, I imagine. Were you? Like a backpack? That.
First of all, we came to Italy because we I was very nervous. My husband tried to help us to get to Poland, but there were too many people, and some of them were lost in Poland. So he told us that he would not let us to go there by that way in which it happened on those days. And then he told us that we found the bus by which we came to Italy, but there was a shelter not for a long time. We couldn't stay there, and the main problem was the language. We couldn't understand, we couldn't speak, and it was very difficult. And first of all, we thought that the situation in Ukraine will stop in some weeks, and we could return home. But when we read the news, when we have read the news about the bombing of Lviv, Ivano-Frankivsk, Khmelnytskyi, Rivne, these towns are around our town, and we are in the middle. It was the second time when I was afraid one more time, and I told that we should stay somewhere where my son could be safe. And we tried to find where we could go. As far as it was possible at that time. And we found the information about Ireland. We hoped that we could understand people and they could understand us. So we just tried. If to be honest, I didn't know everything that you did, you Irish people did for us. I just told that we will go to airport and then we will decide what to do. We hoped that someone could help us.
And do you feel you have been helped?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We are very grateful for that help because my mind was unclear and I couldn't concentrate on many aspects what to do here.
It's an awful lot to deal with. You mentioned your husband.
Yes.
Has he had to stay?
Yes.
And what's he doing?
What's
is he engaged in the war or?
Kind of. He is in the territorial defense. It is like civil police, and there are many men.
Checkpoints and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. But you worry for him.
Yes, very much, because there are immigrants, and we do not know who is who is the person who really needs help. And they got many people who try to take photos of our strategic objects. So I'm really worried about him and everyone who is there.
Oksana, where you lived was bombed. You heard the bombs and the missiles.
Yeah.
It must. I can't imagine what that might be like. How bad is it?
Yeah. I left Ukraine on the 6th of March, and before I was at home with my daughter and tried to work, of course. And my work was between alarm. All time we down to the basement, and after back to the house, and I tried to work and inform our district about the situation in the region, in the district, give the youth information that can help, can improve, can support people. So, when I've had the situation in Bucha, it's about 30 kilometers from Kiev. It was, I was affected very much, especially for my little daughter. She is only 8 years old. So, and as I said before, the Belgorodka is the line of defense of Kiev. And the neighbors' villages were occupied the Russian troops. It's about 2 kilometers from us. Of course, I know that the line of defense, our line of defense, is very strong. But if they don't come in our village, they can bomb us.
Shells and bombs.
Shells and bomb. So, and of course, every day and night we had the ballistic missiles that were shoot down our air defense. So, and our house was shake from the explosions over our house. And of course, some houses of my neighbors were destroyed. It's about 3 kilometers from my house. So, of course, I'm very afraid, and then my decision was to escape from our land. And before the arrival in Ireland, we lived in Krakow, Poland, for 2 weeks. And after we arrived in Dublin.
And are you in a house at the moment, in a hotel?
In hotel.
And what next? Because that's for 3 months. I think originally there's more uncertainty. What is to come next for you?
You see, I hope that war is over, and I'll back to home because it's my land. They are my friends, my natives, my mother, my work, and we should rebuild Ukraine. So I hope, but
Olana, that's the same for you. You pray to get home, get back to.
Yes, we hope we will be able to come home, because as Oksana told, we should rebuild our country.
Yeah.
There are many regions who suffered because of bombing, and there are no flats, no houses. People have no place to live. So something should be done. But we hope that in some months it will be ended, but we do not know if it will happen.
What do you think the world should be doing more, either of you? Okay, we can provide shelter, we can provide financial support, but that is not stopping the war. And what we want is the war to stop, and then people can return to their home and rebuild.
Well, just now, at the moment, today, the most necessary thing is that we need to close the sky, because they fire our towns, even not only in the east, not only Kyiv, Odessa, it is also Lviv and all western cities also. But our army tries to destroy those bombs in the air. We are not the nation who prepared for the war, who is prepared for the war, and in this case we need such help. We appreciate all the guns which we received till now, but the most necessary thing and the most painful thing is the sky.
Yeah. We need air defense over Ukraine.
Yeah. Do you think the war will end soon? We hope, but do you think it might?
I'm not sure.
Olana?
I'm not sure that it will end. It will be ended in 3 months.
No.
I'm not sure.
Oksana?
I hope that war is over. I hope, but it's only my hope. You see, but logically, I think it's impossible.
We don't know how to stop one person, and we cannot prognose. We cannot know beforehand what he thinks about, and this mind is not healthy mind.
Plus, the people of Russia are hearing a completely different story.
Yes, vice versa.
Everything is reversed. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is sad too, because that's relationships that will be lost.
I think that our nation, Ukrainians, will never forgive and never forget them.
No.
No. We will fight for our freedom. You see, our religion, I mean the religion of Ukrainian nation is freedom.
I think Putin underestimated how Ukraine would defend itself. He didn't realize how strongly your soldiers would fight, I think. It's very, very difficult for both of you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I hope you have a lovely stay, but I hope your stay is short so that you can do what you want to do, if that makes sense. You understand that this awful situation ends as soon as possible.
And we are grateful for every person who helped us in this situation. Not only us, Uliana and Oksana, but everyone, every Ukrainian family, every Ukrainian person, yes, children. There is lack of words to show our gratitude. Thank you.
So, and I write the describe our life for the residents of Letterkenny, for all Irish people, and say thanks for their support, for their understanding, for their nobility. You see, it's now we have the big disaster in our country, but I never forget your help, your support, and your kindness.
Okay. Ulana, Oksana, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more shortly.
COVID-19 can still cause serious illness, especially in people at higher risk. We need to keep protecting each other. So stay home if you have symptoms. Wear a mask in healthcare settings, public transport, and busy places. Let fresh air in if you're meeting indoors. Keep hands clean. And get a COVID-19 vaccine and booster. Let's keep looking out for each other. From the HSE, for us all.
You could run, you could dance, or you could just breathe. The Bernardo's Big Active, supported by Aldi, is happening in schools across Ireland right now, and it makes doing good feel great. It gets classmates of all ages active while supporting their mental health and well-being. The Bernardo's Big Active, supported by Aldi, will raise vital funds to help Ireland's most vulnerable children. Sign up today at thebigactive.ie.
Aldi has everything to make this Easter extra special. Medium Cadbury cream eggs, buttons, Kit Kat and Smarties eggs. Was $1.65, now just 99 cents each. That's 3 for under €3. Large Cadbury Twirl, Whisper and Maltesers eggs, just $3.99 each. And treat the kids with Easter egg hunt favourites from just 79 cents. Visit Aldi or click and collect. So on your marks, egg set, go. Aldi, the home of an amazing Easter. See aldi.ie for terms and available stores. Charges apply.
Bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. €2,500 must go. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Snowball €4,900 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. Halfway House Burnfoot.
Sun soak for less. This summer with TUI. Savings on holidays during May. Holiday sorted. TUI. Live happy.
All ready for next year? Why not make sure of it with SEAT? Trade up to a 221 SEAT SUV and you'll be offered PCP finance from 1.9% and a 3-year service plan for just $9.99 a month. With the bold new Arona, the stylish new Ateca, or the outstanding 7-seater Tarraco, we're all ready. Are you? Trade up to your 221 SEAT SUV at DMG Motors, Claw Road, Donegal Town. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland, trading as SEAT Financial Services. Subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit seat.ie/221 for further information.
Hey, I'm home. Honey? Hi, love.
Hi, love.
I just got in. Where are you?
I'm behind the shower curtain in the attic bathroom.
You're behind the shower curtain in the attic bathroom.
Yeah, kids found the sweets. Have fun getting them in bed. Love you. Bye.
Right.
Connect in every corner of your home with our enhanced coverage technology. Vodafone Super Wi-Fi, now with Wi-Fi calling. Together we can.
Subject to eligibility, activation and limitations with Vodafone broadband. Install fee may apply. See vodafone.ie/super Wi-Fi.
Ireland is leaving diesel behind, and Kelly's Toyota is leading the way with our incredible range of self-charging hybrid electric cars. We've amazing offers, including contributions and trade-in boosters. And with 46 years of experience here in Donegal, you can trust us to help you on your electric journey. You'll never take a wrong turn with Toyota, Ireland's best-selling car brand. Visit Kelly's Toyota Mount Charles or Letterkenny today. Toyota, built for a better world. Terms and conditions apply.
Milford Tiles, wood flooring and bathware. Milford Retail Park now open. Large range of wall and floor tiles on display and in stock. Over 70 different laminate floors to suit every pocket. Tilers and wood fitters available. New bathware showroom now open. Milford Tiles, wood flooring and bathware. 083 091 0707.
I'm Stephanie Preisner, one of thousands of autistic people in Ireland. Everyone experiencing life and autism in our own unique way. Unfortunately, many of the things connecting us are the barriers we face every day. Barriers most people don't face and so don't even see. Barriers to a proper education. barriers to employment, barriers in society that leave autistic people isolated and left out. Help us remove these barriers and give autistic people the same chance. Donate at asiam.ie.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
Okay, in conversation with Father Paddy, wasn't it, a little earlier on? He thinks that the church should bless same-sex couples' relationships. But this caller says, you hit the nail on the head, Greg. These are the rules. That's the bottom line. Pope Francis nor anyone else can change the Bible or dogma. The church will become much smaller but much more faithful. A car or a tractor is not a state of sin, therefore can easily be blessed. I'm surprised that the speaker didn't realise the difference. Compassion and kindness involve not letting souls be lost to hell. If he doesn't believe in grave sin and hell, then that's his problem. But you're coming from a position where you believe the unity of two people and the love and commitment to each other is a sin, which is... gay people are more than welcome. It's sin that's not. People who are having relations outside marriage are in the exact same boat. It's a grave sin. Well, thankfully we've all moved on a little bit from there, and there's so much going on in this world and so much evil that should be condemned. The abuse of children, women, everyone, and to be fixating on whether or not two people happen to have the same gender, or whether someone has a child outside of marriage. Really, if that's the priority, or if that's the issue, I think a refocus is required here. I'm listening, Greg, to your show today and very vexed, as I always have been involved working with fish. I know quite a bit about how fish are dealt with. It's really ridiculous how our fishermen are being dealt with this awful hand in this day and age. My God, it's hard enough to be at sea without the hassle when you reach the piers. Yeah, indeed. I can't believe what the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, tweeted. I'm in shock, an absolute disgrace. How big is this man's salary? Charlie McConalogue did not give a solution to Killybegs, nor condemn the tweet, and Darragh's sixth sense of humour as they describe it. There's just some things at certain times, if you're in a certain position, that you don't joke about. You know, Eamon Ryan's not going to make jokes about fuel poverty, is he? I mean, you wouldn't even imagine it happening. And Eamon Ryan comes in for some criticism, but can you imagine if he did? Yet, for some reason, it's okay for the situation that people have to endure here, and not, you know, very difficultly, is some sort of a joke. It's not the actual action; it's what it says about the understanding of the problem. That's what would be my thing. It's not actually the tweet, right? Because that could be a mistake or something, or someone being tone deaf. But when you are the person that deals with these families, that should understand their problems, that you understand the devastation that's wreaked by Micah, then it's just not a place you go with laughing emojis. You can see where his loyalties lay, Greg. He specifically implied that you were stirring up anxiety over Micah. He obviously doesn't think that his colleague Darragh O'Brien was, as he wouldn't condemn his actions. That's classic deflection. I've seen it before in the past, and I'll see it again in the future, and it's straight off my back. Well done, Greg. Excellent questioning of the minister. Every time he speaks, he confirms his inability and incompetence. He's destroying the industry with his ineptitude, i.e. Brexit deal, fishing authority, etc. Then passes the buck. Charlie should join Sinn Féin. He cannot answer straight questions. Another, Greg, what did Minister O'Brien say? I'm not on Twitter, just catching your comment with Charlie. I don't want to keep going over it again. I don't want to amplify it. I thought I'd reference it. The comedian Darragh O'Brien was on the Late Late Show. And one of his jokes, obviously, because they prepare this in advance, was that he was getting a lot of abuse on Twitter. He opened his Twitter and everyone was giving out about him. And as it turns out, it wasn't him. It was the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, but they atted him into it. They directed the tweet at the comedian Darragh O'Brien, and Ryan Tuberty thought this was hilarious. He was doing that thing where you thought something's so funny you hop forward on your chair. I've never seen actually anyone do that for real, but anyway. And then Minister O'Brien videoed it on the screen and apologised to Darragh O'Brien, and then two smiley faces, right? He didn't actually joke himself, but he inserted himself in the joke. He was already in the joke, but you know what I'm on about. He got involved with the laughter at the expense of Micah people. And I think that's where he put a foot wrong. But anyway, maybe some people think it's a storm in a teacup, but it's not even a storm. It's just indicative maybe of the attitude. Charlie knows the Dublin Central Government doesn't care about Donegal banksters. Walk into Department of Finance 24 hours later, get 64 billion, yet Charlie can't sort out the Killybegs debacle or answer a simple question. Another Greg, what Charlie, a self-serving TD, not our representative. They seem to get upset if people ask them a straight question. And more on the hospital situation. We're carrying people's negative experiences, and we do carry the positive ones too, but their negative experiences recently. Hi, listening to that lady talking about her father waiting on a bed in Galway. It's heartbreaking. Can you tell her to ring Galway bed manager herself? My father was in the same position a few years ago, and Letterkenny doctor kept telling him that they were waiting on a bed in Galway. My sister is a nurse there. She got onto a bed manager in Galway about my father. He wasn't even on the waiting list for a bed. Got to Galway 2 days later. Seems to be that's what people are saying, that they've had to intervene and call Galway directly, and it's worked for them. Let me see. Callers say she was also in Letterkenny Hospital recently and observed a lot of elderly people, some on their own, waiting for hours with no one tending to them. People who had nothing to eat or drink were afraid to go and get something because they were afraid they would miss the call. There is no manager in A&E who's ensuring that things are running as they should and that everyone is being seen. The doctors and nurses are working really hard, but they need someone overseeing the operation to see it run smoother. That seems to be something that could fix an awful lot of what we've been talking about. Hey, final call, by the way, to win a holiday of a lifetime. After today, we could all do with it, couldn't we? As you know, we've been running this competition for you at our website, highlandradio.com. We've given away a trip to Turkey and two €1,000 in cash already. But the big one, it all is heading to the big one this Thursday. So you've only got 2 or 3 days left. 3 days. Someone will win a €10,000 holiday voucher to spend on the holiday of a lifetime, or to break it up and go on multiple holidays. It's up to you. You also get 5,000 cash in cash. We're calling it spending money. You can do what you want with it. Do you want to change your bathroom? There's $5,000 there. You can come up with your own spending money for the holiday. Entries close this Thursday at 11 a.m. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, go to our website if you want to, highlandradio.com, if you have a wee bit of spare cash. Tickets are €1 for 10. If you want to buy gifts for people, maybe it's birthdays, I don't know, 6 for 50 or 10 for 80. So effectively you get 2 tickets for free if you buy 10. Good luck from all here at Highland Radio.
The countdown is now on. Where would you go if you won the €10,000 holiday and €5,000 spending money?
I know exactly where to go. I go to Boston to see my aunt. I go on a Mediterranean cruise and the 5,000 would come in handy for spending money.
If I won the super prize, I would take my 3 boys to Disney World and Universal Studios in Florida, and we'd also get to meet my brother over there.
The lucky winner will be announced on Thursday the 14th of April on the 9 till noon show. Buy your ticket today at highlandradio.com.
Kelly's Diner in Letterkenny now has even longer opening hours. Try Kelly's Early Bird Breakfast, one of their great lunch specials, or a renowned Jake's Burger. Kelly's famous steak specials are available every Saturday from 3, with an 8-ounce succulent steak and all the trimmings for just €11. New extended opening hours now in Kelly's award-winning diner at Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Check out Facebook for details.
Don't sleep in and miss the very latest beds and mattress offers from dfibeds.ie, Ireland's leading online bed and mattress retailer. You'll get a comfy Irish-made mattress, upholstered base and headboard from an amazing €229. Check out the full range at dfibeds.ie. Delivery free and guaranteed to you within 7 working days. DFI Beds. Sleep well, live well.
Declan Nerney live in concert with special guests Louise Morrissey and John Hogan. Easter Sunday, 17th of April at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny. Tickets on sale now from the Clanry Hotel reception on 07491 24369. Come and join us for a super night's entertainment.
Tá éit a chudí rio le daine. Tá cuidú a tastal an Ukraine inis, agus san éit sin faoi réir le foiilte mhór a chur a bhuaite na Ukraine, agus chun taú láisin a chaithí fannacht ina né. Tá agriachtaí men commerceidin héireann take le chéile chun taú le caranis an seo sáile agus san Ukraine. Jane do chuidinis ag irelandforukraine.ie.
Highland Radio website weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Get ready to hit the beach and soak up the sun by choosing flights to Alicante, Barcelona, Faro, Mallorca, Malaga and Milan this summer with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport, you're flying.
Okay, outbreaks of rain will move over our region this afternoon. There may be some heavy and thundery bursts. This will be followed by scattered showers. Breezy with moderate to fresh east to southwest or southeast winds, occasionally strong. Temperatures 10 to 12 degrees. Now, James Arnold joins us on the programme. James, we have about 5 minutes. Perhaps we'd need more, but look, we'll go to the main thrusts of your points. You've an opinion on Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Yes. Good morning, Greg. Yeah, what a busy show you had this morning. So interesting. I felt so sorry about those two young women. Anyway, I've been in Ukraine a couple of times, and I speak those Russian and Ukrainian. So I got to know what's going on in that country. And I've kept abreast with all the stuff in the last, 45 days or so. There's two things. It's in relation to Ireland, the west coast of Ireland, where, a number of years ago, a $300 million cable was laid connecting the United States of America, England, Germany, Norway, and a couple of other countries. Now, we know, too, that in January, a fleet of ships and submarines took an exercise off the coast, the west coast, and by an act of goodwill, they moved out of the exclusion zone because the fishermen were worried about their catches. A lot of trouble about fish, isn't there, in Ireland? But I think that this is important for politicians and those who are interested to take note of it.
Do you think the location was not an accident?
Oh, I think it was a ruse. I think they definitely were more interested in that cable. It's 14,500 kilometres long, connecting all those countries. And this has happened before, even in the First World War, where opposing belligerents decided to try to crash out all the communications before. So it would be so important for an aggressor if things escalated in Ukraine, which I believe is inevitable. It's not as possible or probable. It will escalate. And it's very important. I'm sure NATO are making their own plans. I'm sure America's doing a lot of things that we don't know about them. But it could just get further and further. But if does, that cable would be so important. Now, I know that the NSA and the NASA itself have the power to send up a couple of rockets to knock out any kind of, negative satellites, so to spoil the communications from the height, which I believe would be far worse than the ground cable. However, there's so many things I could talk to you about. I'll tell you briefly that I do not believe that Ukraine was the cause of this invasion. I believe that Putin has a wider plan involving all the Baltics, including half of Poland, Moldova, and the others, because he believes himself as some kind of czar.
He wants to reassemble the USSR. But does he have the resources to do so? I mean, we know Russia is incredibly nuclear capable, but to fight a ground war on multiple fronts, does he have either the support or the resources to do so?
He does not have the support. He does not have the support of his own country, even for that. What he does have is a potential enemy of 2.4 million soldiers, plus an incredible armaments that would, has the capacity to demolish Russia. The thing is that people are worried about is that a man like that who's put into a corner, will he play around with these nukes? I can tell you that the two bombs that were dropped in Japan by America are now 3,000 times more powerful. And if 30,000 or 40,000 people in both of those, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, were killed, multiply 3,000 by 40,000 will give you 120 million dead with the same power. Only one bomb, and there's several thousand of them. So it needs very sensible heads in the world. And I do not believe Mr. Putin can be appeased. I believe he's unreasonable.
Yeah, and also, people might have in their heads that these bombs are like the size of a spaceship or something. These are 1.5 meter long, impossible to intercept. Impossible to intercept bombs. Listen, we could talk and talk. We'll talk again, James. Maybe when as things progress, because it'd be interesting to get your insight from your locale there, from where you've been. I appreciate your time this morning, James. I'm sorry to sort of squeeze it in, but that is where we have to leave.